story so far.
Farah's going to get there. This is world domination. Unbeatable, unsurpassable. Shadiat Fraser played by an absolute mile. Christie's coming. She's got it.
Asinbayeva is the champion. She's back on top of the world. And he flies over.
A race for the line for the gold. Jehu Gordon.
The road to success is an arduous journey, of which there are many twists and turns. You want to be a champion? How far are you prepared to go? Peekaboo. First, you need passion. Then there is desire. But none of this is any good without tactics. Energy, hard work, commitment. But a real champion never reveals his true secret. And that is simple: the fear of losing.
Yep, you'll never look at those Russian dolls in the same way again. Normal service has resumed with the weather, a gorgeous day here in Moscow. And we've got that Friday feeling around the stadium. The Friday feeling could be about him, Farah, the 5K, the highlight of the evening. Mo's double gold is on. And Paula Radcliffe, Michael Johnson are here at the top of the show. Excitement building all around, certainly around the Brits, around the stadium. It just felt like the press room was busier than ever as well, because these are beautiful conditions for 5K running, are they not?
They're perfect conditions, yes. It's not too warm, it's not too humid, but the main thing is just to see how Mo's recovered. And I don't know about excitement, I've got butterflies in my tummy just
They're
with
only in a
nerves.
build knowing you as well. Michael, we could see something truly special and be part of a really historic moment this evening if it goes the way we hope.
Absolutely, and Mo will be aware of that, and it's something that he wants. I mean, he's obviously had success in the Olympics last year and is a British hero, but he knows that in order to be a true legend in this sport, this is something that he needs to do.
Okay, well, we will go into the detail of how this race may pan out in just a moment. There's no doubt, though, it will be tactical. It will be different to anything perhaps we've seen Mo race before. But Paul has been looking exactly at how Mo can take gold.
The 5,000 metres is a different race to the 10,000 metres. And Mo is definitely the man to be shot at.
Gold once more.
If he does win it, he'll go down in history alongside Vakili as the only man to hold 5,000 metre and 10,000 metre world and Olympic titles at the same time.
Vakili is the double champion.
Watching his qualifying race, to me, Mo looked as though he was more comfortable and had recovered better than he had in last year's Olympic 5,000 metre heats.
No problems for Mo Farah. Easy qualification.
I feel the 5,000 metres is actually a stronger race on paper. That said, the Ethiopians haven't shown any evidence that they are prepared to work as a team and really go to hurt Mo. I think they believe that they're faster than him and can outkick him on the final lap. And Edwin Soy, the only man to have beaten Mo this year over 5,000 metres, believes that he is better and that he can beat Mo here.
It's going to be the first defeat for the Olympic champion.
I wouldn't expect Mo to go into the lead at the beginning. He will like to settle, stay alert and be ready to cover any moves. Different to the 10, don't expect him to sit as far back though, because a break may well come from much earlier on. It's far easier to make it a tough, hard pace with 9 laps to go than it is thinking about it with 20 laps to go in the 10,000 metres.
Has he got enough? He's kicking again. Mo Farah is going for it.
Mo has phenomenal speed. We have seen him unleash that time and time again and it carry him to glory, like last year in the Olympics and here in the 10,000 metres. If he hits here and has that in front of him, clear track ahead and is controlling the field with a lap to go, he's kicking for glory.
One of the greatest distance runners the world has ever seen is now the double Olympic champion.
Do not underestimate the scale of the feat that Mo is attempting to achieve tonight. He will have run 50 laps of this track in less than a week. If he can achieve it, it will truly be a historic night for Mo Farah.
How is Mo dealing with the expectation? Is he the kind of person that puts this into context as one race, or will he, at the back of his mind somewhere, even the forefront, be thinking, I'm on the precipice of legendary status, not just around Great Britain, but in the sport as a whole, historic middle distance running?
I don't think he'll be thinking about any of that. Mo is just a really chilled and really good at just kicking back, thinking about one race at a time and just putting that in his head. So he's coming here and he's just thinking about winning this race tonight, and that's what he wants to do. I don't think he's afraid of losing it, but he wants to win it. And that's the difference. He's just going to kick in and he's going to leave everything out on there on that track. And the question is just, can the others work together and take it to him?
Will they work together? You said not in the piece. You didn't think they would.
I don't think they will. I don't think the Ethiopians will. I don't think they're coordinated enough. And I think Gebrehira and Alamiru, they think that they can close faster than him over the last 100 metres, 50 metres. So they'll be waiting to sit behind him. Edwin Soy believes that as well. So it really is down to Koech and Longasiwa to see, can they coordinate and can they make it hard? I think it would suit Soy if they do, but I'm just not sure it'll come together.
There was that early season blip against Soy, if you like, and we found out then that Mo had a bit of a bug before that, and perhaps in other circumstances might not have raced. In Birmingham, he outkicked Alamiru, didn't he? And so that psychologically must be a great thing to take into this when you've been as close to this as your big rival.
Yeah, and Mo has tremendous confidence at this point because of all that has happened to him over the last couple of years. He's had tremendous success. Working with Alberto Salazar, I mean, it has a couple of advantages. First of all, Alberto does everything he possibly can to help his athletes to be successful. You talked about worrying. Alberto does all of the worrying for every athlete that he trains. And so Mo will not be worried, and he certainly won't be thinking about the history as he goes into this race. He'll be thinking about just execution of this race. And I think you made a good point, Paula, also that, I don't think he's really going to be that disappointed if he loses. He sees it more as it's opportunity, but there's nothing for him to lose at this point. He's had so much success, but he wants it badly, and so he will leave everything out there on the track.
What's the biggest barrier for his success tonight for you?
I think the biggest barrier is the fatigue. I think that people are taking it, because of his success last year and because of his success so far, they're taking it as a given that this is his race to lose, and they're forgetting about the fact that he will actually have run a lot of times around that track. I mean,
and there's one day less
run 50
rest,
laps,
isn't there?
Yeah, one day less rest, and so he ran 10,000 metres, that's 25 laps last Saturday, and then he's coming back here tonight, and he's already run the other 12 and a half laps midweek, and he's got to go out there, and he knows that they can make it hard. The only way really I think that they have to beat him is to make it hard, and he's got to go there and be there to cover it and be alert and ready the whole way through, because they can do it easier over the 5,000 metres, I think, and it is a stronger in-depth race than the 10K was.
Okay, well, let's head down to commentary box where Steve Cram is oiling his vocal cords, ready for what I hope, Steve, is going to be another piece of fantastic archive commentary that we look back on for years and years to come. No pressure there. Let's talk a little bit about where this sits in the bigger context. What if he achieves tonight a gold medal, the bigger context of distance running? And we've got some of the key figures, that the main men, if you like, from over the last 80 years or so, and what they've done, right back to Paavo Nurmi of Finland up to Bekele himself. I mean, these guys were multi winners, world record holders. And are we saying that if he wins gold tonight, he sits amongst this company?
Well, I'm already getting nervous, Gabby, because I don't like talking ifs too much. I think if you're going to judge someone's career, I'm a big fan of waiting until they finish their career. But what he's attempting to do is something that not everyone's been able to do. Not everyone is equipped to take on doubles at the 5 and the 10,000 at a major championships. And you're seeing some of these great names. Kenenisa Bekele, the last one to do it. In fact, the only one really, because of the modern era with world championships. Of course, if you go back to Paavo Nurmi and Zatopek and Viren and the rest of them, we didn't have world championships, so we're not really comparing like with like. So let's compare him with Bekele and Gebrselassie. And Bekele got, if you go back to 2003 when he first won the 10,000, he came into the 5,000, and as Paula has rightly pointed out, the 5,000 is always the more difficult one to drop down to, if you like. And he got beat by El Garouge, didn't he? And and then in 2007, Lagat did the other double. The other double is easy. El Garouge did the 1,500, 5,000 double. He followed what El Garouge did in 2003. Mo's the first person, I think, really of this generation who could have maybe done 15 and 5,000. I think the 5,000, 10,000 double is the more natural one. But it's that 1,500 pace that is frightening everybody. And yes, it's going to be incredibly tough. Paul is absolutely right. It was very hot last Saturday, and it affected a lot of the athletes. And we saw not such a fast last lap, and all of the athletes came off the track very, very tired. I think Mo has recovered well, by all accounts. The heats were earlier. It was actually the gap between the 10,000 final and the 5,000 heats was shorter. So tough race in store. And I don't know about the team up thing. I agree with Paul. I can't see it happening on an Ethiopian or Kenyan basis. Just one word of warning. The same manager looks after Soy, Longasiwa and young Edris of Ethiopia. And it's sometimes the management groups who come up with plans. They don't always deliver them out there. But somebody has to do something. Somebody, if they're going to shake Mo up before the last lap, has to do something. If they don't, then of course his chances greatly increase.
What should we be looking out for then, and where should we start getting worried? Are we talking about really different lap times, if they're suddenly making surges and then slowing it down, speeding it up? Is that the kind of thing that he's going to unsettle him?
That's one way of doing it. You can. It's very tiring to surge. Great Henry Rono was the best exponent of that. One of the first big Kenyan heroes, and Brendan would know all about trying to stick with those sort of mid-lap surges, almost running the straights and coasting the bends, and that's hard to do. Or putting in 2-3 hard laps in the middle of the race, slowing a little, then doing it again. Perhaps more likely is a long run from home, a long, hard run from home, 5 laps out, 4 laps out, that really puts the pressure on Mo and tries to take the acceleration out of Mo Farah, and also to put him in a position in the last 600 metres where he's not in the front and dictating things. And I think that's the more likely scenario. As Paula says, it is easier to hit a few laps hard than it is to do 15 laps or even 9 or 10 laps. So possibly that scenario is one that could take place, but someone is really going to have to be confident and maybe sacrifice themselves, which again is a little bit more unlikely. But you've really got to be confident about your fitness. I know Edwin Soy, I saw a quote when he came off the track the other day, and he said, "I'm in the best shape of my life," and he is. He's just run a personal best in Monaco. He beat Mo Farah early in the year, and he said, "And I want to prove it." So I'm interested to see what that means.
Not long to find out. 5:45. Thank you, Steve. I'll let you go and rest those cords for a little bit later on. 5:45, Mo kicks off what could be an historic double-double. But I think what you both put there, Michael, into some kind of context is this is not a foregone conclusion. This is not, just going out and performing in the way that we perhaps have expected of somebody like Usain Bolt.
No, absolutely. And Mo knows that. I think that a lot of us don't know that, and I think Paula put it into a perfect context. It's not a given, and I think that Mo knows that he's got his work cut out for him. And so this is what I really enjoy about athletics, when you have these great races where it's not a foregone conclusion. Quite frankly, I mean, as I said before, it's great that we get to watch Usain Bolt, but I'm not that impressed with watching those sorts of races. Watching Christina Hurugу come from behind and lean at the tape to win it, that's what I'd like to see. And I'd like that to be Mo leaning, at the tape to win it, but I want to see a great race. And
we'll see if we can engineer that for you, that kind of excitement this evening. I think we'd accept any kind of Mo victory, Paula, tonight, wouldn't we?
I think we would, but I know exactly what Michael's saying, because I'm watching it and I desperately want Mo to win, but I also want them to challenge him. I want him to make him work, and I want to see what he's capable of, because I know that his endurance this year is much better than anyone has tested him so far. And my only worry is just that fatigue factor coming into it, and just will they work together as a team, and what will they do to really make it hard for him? But
it's going to be very, very exciting. But tonight there is more than just Mo on offer. Here's your evening for you. There's no Greg Rutherford in tonight's long jump final, but the Russians have a man to cheer. Alexander Menkov is the golden favourite. Speaking of hot favourites, Usain Bolt continues his defence of his World 200-metre title. It's semi-finals time tonight. The USA have dominated shot put this year after a poor showing in London. Reese Hoffer is one half of America's double shot at gold. Semi-finals in the women's 800 metres as well, with Laura Muir and Marilyn Okoro going for Britain. It's It's the climax of the one-lap relay. Can Britain's men evoke the spirit of Black, Redmond, Regis and Akabusi? The last race of the evening is the women's 200 metres, and that showdown between Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Allyson Felix. But the highlight of the night, the men's 5,000 metre final, where history beckons for Mo Farah. Certainly our highlight, looking through British eyes, but there is plenty for you before then. This is how it all pans out time-wise. The hammer throw final, the women's hammer throw, is kicking off at 4. And then there are 2 juicy 1,500 metre semi-finals at 4:05. The long jump final, sadly without British representation, at 4:30. 3 actually 200 metre semi-finals. And our guys did very, very well this morning. You'll see that in a moment. Of course, Usain will be there too. A shot put final at 5:10. Then at 5:15, we have 2 British women going in the 800 metre semi-finals. Mo's race, what more can we say? At 5:45, cement that on your brain. And at 6:15, it's the women's 200 metre final with those speed queens. And at 6:30, really looking forward to that. What a great way to end the evening, the 4x400 metre relay. So we had a fabulous morning session here as well. Phil Jones has the story.
Day 7 and the Bolt was back, starting the defence of his 200 metres world title. 2 lanes inside Usain, 19-year-old British debutant Delano Williams, now part of Bolt's training group.
Away safely, and Delano Williams did get a good start this time, or certainly a decent start. Kobayashi gone well inside him from Japan, running a cracking bend. It's going to be Bolt in the lead at the moment. Kobayashi might just have second place. Gordon's going to come into this, and Williams now starting to move a little bit, but he'll have to watch Gordon coming through. He's moved into second. Bolt switches off. Bolt wins. Williams second. That's good, and Gordon 20.66.
Well, we just want to get through. Take it as easy as possible. Not really a morning person, so I'm just happy to get through.
It's been good. I mean, me and him were talking in the marshal there. I mean, he motivated me. He told me that I don't have nothing to worry about. I'm young, just do my thing. And hopefully, one day, I'll be a world champion.
Delano will be joined in tonight's semis by a second 19-year-old Briton, Adam Jamili, who moved 5th on the UK all-time list with a time of 20.17, the quickest of the morning heats.
When you crossed the line and saw the time, what was your first thought?
Wow. Well, I looked across, I didn't think it was me. I thought someone else might have got it, but PB in the heat. I think there's a lot more to come.
James Ellington won his heat in 20.55 seconds to make it a 3 out of 3 progression for Britain. Jamaica have 4 athletes in the semis. Olympic bronze medalist Warren Weir cruising home to join Bolt, Nickel Ashmead and Jason Livermore in the next round. We're set for a Mr. T showdown in the men's triple jump final. Olympic and defending champion Christian Taylor bounded through with a distance of 17.36 metres. While Frenchman Teddy Tango, the world indoor record holder, led qualifiers with 17.41 metres. After an injury-hit season, Australia's Olympic and reigning world champion Sally Pearson shows she's edging towards rediscovering her golden self in the 100-metre hurdles.
It was a very, very strong start from Sally Pearson. Perhaps a lazy one from Cindy Below, but Pearson looking very good at the moment. Below just creeping up alongside her, and Pearson keeps her at a distance, and Pearson looking good, looking impressive. 12.62, quickest time for Sally Pearson this year.
Britain's sole entrant Tiffany Porter was crisp and sharp in winning through to tomorrow's semis. Not at all bad considering the early start.
I'm always so nervous before the first round, but it was a good prelim, and I'm just looking forward to the next round.
An early morning start. Are you a morning person, would you say?
Not at all. But it's okay. I was able to just drink my caffeine this morning, and I'm feeling good.
New to this stage, but clearly unfazed, is American champion Brianna Rollins, she of the David Bedford-esque headband. She went fastest of all at 12.55 seconds. Defending champion Maria Abakumova led qualifying for the women's javelin with a throw of 69.09 metres. Only she has thrown further this year. It may only have been the qualifying round, but Serbia's Tatiana Jelatta had her medal-like moment today with a big personal best of 62.68 metres, a national record. She joins the Russian and Germany's Kristina Oberkvoll among the 12 finalists on Sunday. Perry Shakes Drayton may be home injured, but the British women's 4x400 metres relay team comfortably secured their final place without her, led home by 400 metre champion Christina Hurugу. They'll hope to be in the fight for the medals tomorrow.
The first of the 1500 metre semi-finals with Great Britain's Chris O'Hare coming up in about 8 or 9 minutes' time. But I think the first thing we should do here, Michael, is say bravo to 3 British men getting into those 200 metre semi-finals later on, and Gemelli producing brilliant form. I mean, his reaction was fantastic about his time, but making really good progress.
Yeah, absolutely. He's making great progress, and as a 100-meter runner who burst onto the scene last year and surprised us all and had a great season, it's great to see him now transition into the 200 meters, which we always felt was his weaker event, to really excel here and take a good 1300s off of his PR just here in the preliminaries. And there's a lot left where that came from. You see him slowing down there at about 8 meters out from the finish line. And, perfect technique. He's a very sound athlete in terms of his technique, and we saw that last year in the 100 meters. What really surprised me is his ability, his speed endurance, his ability to hold that speed for the entire 200 meters. He will certainly be very, very confident going into the semifinals after this performance this morning, which I think surprised him as well. And so this bodes well for Great Britain's chances in the 200 meters, an event that really over the last several years, not since John Regis, has there really been a very good 200 meter
Darren
runner.
Campbell tweeted this morning, well done. I think you can, he's 5th on the all-time list now, and Darren Campbell's 4th, and he's 21.3. He said, you've got to, at least pass me, but he looked like he could go into 20 seconds, perhaps.
Yeah, and I forgot about Darren Campbell as well, silver medalist from 2000, where he should have won it, actually. But yeah, I think Darren's right. I mean, he's got some ways to go, but, when you start getting down into the 20.1s, then it becomes easy to get into finals, and when you get into finals, anything can happen. And so he becomes a very dangerous athlete because of his confidence, and because he really, again, he's an athlete because he's so young, he has nothing but upside. So he'll go into this with a lot of confidence. I thought the Jamaicans would probably sweep this, but now he's put himself into the mix, and it looks even better because the Americans didn't look good in the preliminaries this morning as well.
All bodes well for him. Just hope he can retain that relaxed demeanour that he had this morning and not start kind of tightening up and putting pressure on himself. Well, everybody, wherever he races, wants to get that magic moment, that magic shot of Usain Bolt. The photographers literally run as fast as they can to get the absolute pinnacle of photography. And the other night, one photographer managed that in the 100 metres.
The men's 100-metre final. The greatest sprinter of all time. And the rain continues to fall. They get away, Gatlin perhaps gets the best start, Bolt's right alongside him, Gatlin leading at the moment, but here comes Usain Bolt. Now Bolt's going to get there, he's just storming past them, and Bolt's going to take the gold medal again!
When I opened the picture, I saw there was the lightning. I saw it was a good picture. I was just expecting some good result on the day after in the newspaper, but not that big. We have 5 remote camera fired at the same time than the camera in the hand. All of them are set in different angles, different line, to have different kind of pictures. And I always try to have a wide picture with very wide angle to have the whole stadium, leaving a bit of sky. That's I used to do it. It never worked so far. I checked the others' remotes and nothing was spectacular. Then I went to see this one. That's what I saw coming, and then at this moment only I saw maybe it's a shot. This kind of picture without the lightning, I don't even move it. I don't even send it to the desk. 20 minutes before, when the thunder was coming on the top of us, we were desperately trying to catch the lightning at the end of the 10,000 meters without success. We couldn't do it. If you want to try for 100 years, I wouldn't be able to do it. And that's why I maintain my only credit is the framing, to have a wide part, and it's only 1% of this picture. It's luck and luck only. The global reaction is kind of sincere congratulation, but people who knows image a bit knows how accident it could be. Maybe accident is part of our job, and I heard even Usain Bolt wanted to have this picture.
Well, there he is. No sign of rain at the moment for tonight's semi-finals. Usain warming up on the outdoor warm-up track, as you can see just there, and it's an incredible photograph that. It deserves the recognition it's had over the last few days. I remember retweeting it when I saw it, and the cynics said, oh come on, that's been doctored, there's no way, because it's just the absolute perfect position of that lightning bolt over his head was just beautiful, wasn't it?
It was, and it was that, I mean, like you said, a lot of it was luck, but some is in the framing. But I wonder how many pictures he took that night in that race to actually get that.
To get that moment. It is a real skill, and a picture that I'm sure will propel him forwards in his career, and maybe he'll get another one tonight, Michael. Something with the sun or the clouds.
Maybe. I think, like I said, when Usain Bolt is amazing when he starts making photographers famous. I mean,
there's a whole industry.
Yeah, exactly. Cottage industry around the Usain Bolt.
Okay, well maybe one of those photographers will get a magic moment tonight. See what I did there? 5:45. Don't forget it. That's the time, and Mo wants you there.
Have a cup of tea, chill out. Mo's in the race. You've got to have that confidence. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to go in every race knowing that, yes, I'm going to win. Well, I'll fight to the line. The final thing is going to be quite exciting.
This is world domination for Farah. Well, I'm not sure the whole of Moscow is as excited as Brendan and I and everybody else is about Mo Farah's 5,000 tonight. Not the biggest crowd, but it's building. Our first event of the evening due on the track. It will be the semi-finals of the men's 1,500 metres, and going in that first semi-final right on the inside will be Chris O'Hare, City of Edinburgh athlete, done incredibly well this year, based in the United States, and ran very bravely in the heats to make it through to the semi-final. We've got two races, obviously. It'll be the first 5 and then 2 fastest losers to go to Sunday's final. And in this race, the gold medal favourite, Asbel Kiprop, also Silas Kiplagat of Kenya. But plenty of names there you might recognise: Bob Tari, Nick Willis, Gebri Medin, Mazuzi, Schlangen, and 2 Americans, Lamont and Olympic silver medalist Leo Manzano. There he is. And the Americans managed to get 2 surprise men into medal positions, if you like, over the last couple of years. Centrovitz will be in the next one. He won a medal last time round in Daegu, and Manzano last year. Nick Willis himself, in the past, he said to me, I had a quick word with him after the hits the other night, said I'm not in shape. He came through as the fastest loser, whereas Kiprop looked serene, to be honest, which he can do. He's a lovely looking runner, Kiprop. Brilliant performance in Monaco when of course Mo Farah was behind him, running so fast. Lamont's been struggling a little bit with his form this year. When he's good, he can be very, very good, but he's been a little bit up and down. Based in Oregon, 3rd in the American Championships. This is Johan Cronje of South Africa. The new best this year, 3:33.46. That's the new South African record at the age of 31. Well, Bob Tari given up on the steeplechase, lots of injury problems over the years, and of course he's watched Mikisi, his teammate, and I have to say rival, and they're not exactly friends, go on and win a medal again in that event yesterday. Now, Silas Kiplagat, Commonwealth Games champion, silver medalist 2 years ago. Is he capable of beating Kiprop when we get to the finals? Done it before. Big cheer for the Russian, Smirnov, World Student Games champion just a couple of weeks ago. And then Chris O'Hare. Well, I've watched Chris actually for a good few years. Must have been from part of the world we're from, seen him running some of his junior career before he headed off to the States, but that's where he's really come on, and he's had a couple of great years on the indoor circuit there, and has now managed to balance that well with coming back, making the British team, got the qualifying time. He's now in the World Championship semi-final. The usual 3 3/4 laps of the track. And the first team, you always think, are at a slight disadvantage because the men in the second one can see what sort of time is run here. And there's always plenty think, yeah, I've got a good kick, top 5. no problem. So it'll be interesting to see whether anybody thinks, no, my better chances to make this a fairer run race. Early leader, and it's not quick, Brendan. Smirnov and Le Mans, USA and Russia side by side at the front.
Pretty steady opening here. Chris O'Hare in third place on the inside. I was impressed with him, the way he arrived at the championship, the way he ran in the first round. He came here as though he wanted to be on this stage, but when he's looked at the heat here and he's looked at the semi-final ahead of him, there's 10 athletes here who run faster than him, and that's a really tough one. So, you know, let's face it, if he finishes in the top 5 here, he'll have done exceptionally well, but he's got too many athletes with too much talent. He's not going to get a fast time if they keep running like this, 62 seconds. You know, you need a little bit faster to get the opening there, but young Chris O'Hare, I think, has got a good future, because when you look at a championship, Steve, you always see how an athlete adapts to it. He's adapted well.
Yes, and I'm pleased he didn't sort of move through that gap there. Smirnov moved aside to say, well, come on, you take it on, and he didn't accept the invitation too early to do that. The best option he's got here is to get into a really good position when the race starts to kick off, probably sometime in the next few hundred meters, and then be in a position to try and react and give himself the best possible opportunity over the last 200 or 300 meters. Manzano moving up the outside, then Matsouzi in the red and the black of Morocco. As Manzano just follows him, senses a little bit of danger there. Smirnov just closing off Chris O'Hare as they come round with 2 laps to go now, and it's slow and they'll start to get nervous.
That's exactly what will happen. Asbel Kiprop is just taking his time. I noticed he's staying out of any trouble. He's sitting there at the back on the outside. He's got a clear track ahead of him. He's the favourite, the defending champion and former Olympic champion from Kenya on the outside. Young Chris O'Hare still running as though he wants to be in this arena. It looks as though he's not overawed at all by it. Kiprop's just waiting there at the back, but he's got to start thinking about his position now. You don't want the whole field ahead of you when you come with 400 meters to go, so he's got to work himself somewhere here between now and the bell.
Yeah, the thing about Kiprop is he is quick and he's got pace to burn, but he's, you know, they all have off a slow pace, so he's realizing that. He's thinking, no, I've got to at least give myself a chance here. Don't give too many of them a head start. Gebremedin following him, so the big danger, Kiprop just tucked in. Chris O'Hare's taking advantage. That's a good, smart move. Now he's got to try and hold that as long as he can, but it's straight away Le Mans and Kiprop come across.
It's a tall order to try and hold off Asbel Kiprop when he's in full flow, but there he goes. Chris O'Hare's pushing for his place. He's fighting inside this event. He definitely wants to be here. He's comfortable with his company, and Asbel Kiprop just striding. Look at he's a majestic athlete when he's in full flow. Ran a magnificent race earlier this season, fastest in the world this year, and on the inside there, Chris O'Hare is still in a good place. Opportunities are going to occur to him if he just holds his position, and that's smart moving through on the inside.
He might run into the wall of Le Mans if Le Mans starts to fade, but at the front it's Kiprop and his mate Kiplagat. Gebremedin in between them. Le Mans moves out, gives Chris O'Hare some room on the inside, and he takes the chance. Top 5 to go through. It's Kiprop, Kiplagat, Gebremedin, and Chris O'Hare. If he's strong here, he's going to make it. Cronje finishing quickly. He's got to stay in the top 5, and he does. 4th place. Well, you know, all those races indoors in America where people are pushing and shoving, there's not much room, where you have to bide your time, you don't panic, and sometimes holding the inside's a good thing to do. You just hope and you cross your fingers that the man in front of you doesn't fade into you and then you have to go around. That didn't happen. Le Mans moved away and then out, gave him the chance, Brendan, and then he was strong enough and quick enough over the last 200 to take advantage.
Well, again, he got a good move there on the inside, but Asbel Kiprop in full flow, Gebremedin following him, and Lobos Le Mans, but there he got pushed his waist. Bob Tari, I know you've been around here for a long time, but I want this space. That was clever. I like that. It was good. It shows you that he's not overawed by the competition. And when he looked at the field, he saw 10 of them faster than him. He thought, right, okay, I'm just going to see what I can do. So here in the back straight, he's getting a comfortable run on the inside. There are movements happening on the outside of him. Kiplagat's coming there quickly. And at this point, Chris O'Hare is about 8th place actually, but coming through on the inside there. And here, Le Mans, the red vest of the United States, was he going to stay in front of him or was he going to drift? There, he's drifting on the outside. Chris O'Hare gets the clear run there. Now he's only got the champion ahead of him, Kiplagat and Kiprop, and there he comes, charging through into 4th place. But you know what? That was impressive yesterday. It was impressive today. This young man likes the World Championship arena, and you've got to say congratulations to Chris O'Hare, qualifying for the Olympic final, and you know what, he'll pick up a few more of them there. Well done, Chris.
Brendan Foster, one very excited gentleman, and understandably after a performance like that, he's talked about you belonging on this stage even at round one, and you've shown it even more tonight.
Yeah, much different tactics today. It's very loud now. The Russian who led kept swinging wide, and so once he's done it once or twice, he's going to do it every time because he thinks he's messing up the people outside him. But I knew that with 500, 400 to go, all the big names are going to come pinging around the outside, and so if I can get in the inside of the Russian, sit on the rail and do a Hannah England and let them open up for me, then I knew that hopefully I'd have that finish, and I did today.
You certainly did. Tell me about, in that instance then, holding your nerve. Is that the key?
Yeah, absolutely. Not being patient. It's normally the first one to lose their bottle in these kind of races that ends up last. So you just got to kind of, Terence was earlier saying, just pretend like you've been here before, and it's my mentality for most things. Just blag it and hope you get through. So, I'm really happy and just got to get through and hopefully do something in the final now.
Well, a lot of athletes were brought out here for experience, in inverted commas. I think you far exceeded probably what many people looked at. But I know you yourself wanted this final place. You believed in it.
Yeah, I mean, my personal belief is just, I've got the utmost belief in myself, my family, girlfriend, team, everything like that, keep me level-headed when I need to be and build me up when I need to be built up. So I've got a fantastic support team, and I'm just glad that I could give it back to them today.
Congratulations, Chris. See you in the final.
All right, see ya.
Yeah, and of course, being a Scottish athlete, they'll already be getting excited about his prospects at the Commonwealth Games next year. So Chris O'Hare through to the World Championship final. Those are the five there: Kiplagat, Gebri Medin and Cronje. The Americans not getting through, neither Nick Willis, and I don't think, unless they crawl in the second heat, that they're going to be quick enough with those times.
What clever racing, Paula. What a great attitude as well. He personified there.
What a great attitude, what great speed as well. I mean, you go through 800 metres in a 1500 metre race in 2:06, and you know that only 5 of you are going through. So that's what he's running for here. And he's brilliant turn of speed there. Like you said, he got a little bit lucky that he did a Hannah England and the spaces opened up, but he knew some of that. He's raced Le Mans on the American circuit, and he knew that he was going to move wide and he was going to have that space. But look at the guys that he's kicking away from here. I mean, on the far outside in the red, that's Leo Manzano, who came through with a really, really fast finish to get the Olympic silver medal last year. And he's kicking away from him. He's making it look as though he's running slowly down that home straight. He's really close well, and I'm really impressed with that, and hope he gets a lot of confidence from that and goes on to run well in the final.
And, I think we've talked about the U.S. collegiate system, and I've talked about how some of those athletes suffer actually because that season is so long, but Chris O'Hare is one of those athletes who's benefited from going over and competing in the U.S. collegiate system, where you get so much race experience, and that's part of what that was today, is race experience that allowed him to be able to get into this final.
And he will only grow from that. Let's go and see the second semi-final. It's got to be quicker, Steve, hasn't it? Andrew even.
Yes, well, it has to be. Yeah, a great run by Chris O'Hare in that first one. But I think Kiplop's Golden Dago a couple of years ago, that was part of a 1-2 for Kenya with Silas Kiplagat, and that was Kenya's first victory in a World Championship 1500 metres. Every chance that the Kenyans will be mod-handed in the final here, because they have very strong athletes. Bethel Bergen goes in this second one, and also Nixon Chep Seba. Matt Centrovitz, very fast finishing young American. He's actually the youngest man, Centrovitz, in the 2001 World Championship final. Came from nowhere to take bronze. There's Tesfaye, Ethiopian, now competing for Germany. Carvalho, the Frenchman, finished strongly in his heat to come through. And actually him finishing strongly meant that Wote faced a nervous weight. The Ethiopian only came through as one of the fastest losers. There is Bethel Bergen. He finished fourth in that great 1500 in Monaco. That gave him the second quickest time in the world this year of those competing here. That's Suleiman, Ayanli Suleiman, another East African from small country of Djibouti. Doubling up, the only man doubling up, and that may be expensive for him, Brendan.
Well, I tell you what, this is his fifth race. He ran 3 quick, 1:43, 1:44, 800 meters. So I think he'll be a bit tired.
So first 5 go through automatically, next 2 fastest losers through to the final. And they know the pace they have to set as well after watching that not quite leisurely first semi-final, but it wasn't the quickest, and Woutey and Özbilen goes to the front along with Abdelati Agida, the Moroccan, and usually Ilham Özbilen, former Kenyan, now running for Turkey, likes to be near the front and take it out at a good pace. A little bit of jostling early on, but now Bergen hits the front.
Well, it looks as though they can hardly wait to go a little bit faster than they did. Moving up on the outs there, Ingebrigtsen of Norway. He knows he's only got to run 3:43, and that allows 7 of them to go through. And at the back of the pack, just sitting off there nicely, Steve just reminded me, Mats Centrovits. Very good athlete in the World Championships. The youngest man to win a medal. But his father, in 1980, was selected for the American Olympic team, and he wasn't able to compete here. So Mats Centrovits, the circles turned fully, and now Mats Centrovits is taking the place that his father didn't have the opportunity of doing. I hope he enjoys it. I hope he runs well, though, because the other 2 Americans in the first round almost run themselves out of it. They didn't run quick enough, and they weren't in the first 5, so they're going to be sweating on this one. But I'll tell you what, 55 first lap, there's no way this is not going to be faster than 3:43.
No, I think Centrovits would be quite happy for it to be a little bit slower at the back with his freshly shaven head. He's got a very, very quick finish if he wants to. Ran 51.4 in that World Championship final a couple of years ago, and he came through to take a surprise medal. But the Kenyans, we saw the Kenyans at 1-2 in the first semi-final, and they were 1-2 for a moment, but then the former Kenyan, formerly Willem Tanyui, just gets in between them now, running for Turkey. He's been very keen to stress that he trains very much apart from the rest of the Turkish athletes who have been rather disgraced of late.
1:57, so 61 second there. They just relaxed on that one, but they're still well within the compass. Özbilen, we saw him run that fantastic race at Gateshead. I was really excited when I saw how quick he was going. World record pace till he faded and nearly was caught on the line. But Suleiman on the outside in the green vest of Djibouti. His 5th race so far. I wonder if the tiredness is catching with him. When you run 1:43, 1:44, 1:46 in the 800, and then you have to step up to the 1500, you're going to have problems. But he looks a bit more relaxed today than he did in the first round. Igida is a good athlete there on the outside. He looks as though he's settling into a decent position. Olympic bronze medalist from last year, and there the bell sounds, and Suleiman moves up close to the front. Let's see how quickly they go through there.
Well, Suleiman tries to hit the front, but still holding him off. There is Nixon Chepseba, and behind him the other Kenyan, Bethwell Bergen. And Woutey, Aman Woutey, the Ethiopian, the tall Ethiopian, gets into the first 4 there. So now the German, Humayutes Faye, tries to kick. The pace lifting all the time. It's crowded. It's going to be a rush to the finish. First 5 go through automatically. Oh, and it's all getting a bit messy in there now, and Ayanli Suleiman looks to be suffering, and Woutey too has to take a step back, and Woutey now, that may be expensive for the Ethiopian. Round the outside comes Mustawi, and Centrovits has placed himself well now. Centrovits easing down, he thinks his work is done, and it may well be. Chepseba is going to get there. Centrovits finishing strongly again, the Frenchman Carvalho. It all got a bit messy with about 150 metres to go, and that cost a few athletes. We'll sort it all out in a moment, but I think Bergen may have struggled a bit. Chepseba finished well, but, well, around that top bend, Brendan, and it was crowded, and well, that's what did the damage.
Well, look on the top bend there. Suleiman's in a good place, but he looks as though he starts to make a move, and then all of a sudden there's not enough space for too many athletes. Woutey suffers a little and steps back, and there Suleiman was caught, almost fell. Well, we suggested, and once again Woutey and Suleiman collide, but I thought he was going to be tired. He certainly was tired, and by this time young Mats Centrovits enjoying the Moscow track that his father wasn't able to run on. Chepseba comfortable there, Ingebrigtsen sneaking through on the inside, but there you've got 7 athletes clear, and Woutey of Kenya and Suleiman, and also the other Kenyan athlete. I'm just looking at the split times here that have just come through. Brannan of Canada looks as though he's qualified. Tesfaye of Germany, and Bergen of Kenya, not good enough today.
Well, Brendan, big casualties in that semi-final. We didn't expect Bethel Bergen to go out. We expected Osbilen perhaps to qualify, Wote as well, and Ayanli Suleiman as well. Instead, the 5 will go through automatically: Chepseba, Centrowitz, Mustawi, Carvalho and Ingebrigtsen, but some big men will not be in the final.
Well, the hammer cage just right in the corner there, and about the third changeover point in a relay, the second changeover point rather. And there is the lineup for the women's hammer final. It's already started. We've got 3 former champions and 3 former world record holders too. Unfortunately, no British record holder, Sophie Hitchen. Big disappointment for her that she couldn't make it through. Nor is there the world leader or on the all-time list, nor the woman who's in second place, Betty Heidler and Oksana Menkova. Well, Tatiana Lysenko has been in brilliant form. She is a former world record holder. She's also the reigning Olympic champion, which she won last year. Very small gap. They've got to thread this hammer through the safety cage, but she accelerates that beautifully. That is flying over 75 meters. That is one of the longest throws in history, and we're only in the first round. Well, certainly something for the Russian crowd to cheer. Beautifully balanced. She really got hold of that one. Goes crashing down into the turf. The hammer, around about 4 feet long, weighs 4 kilograms in weight. And she may well take the plaudits. That was brilliant. 77.58, just shy of the championship record. Zhang Wenju of China, she qualified beautifully at 75 meters 15. The Asian record holder, not as tall as Lysenko, but she's got tremendous range on that hammer. Nice delivery as well, and that is sailing out there too. Bang on the 75-meter line. Well, I was very impressed with Zhang in qualifying. She was one of the leading qualifiers, even ahead of Lysenko at over 75 meters. Never looks as though she's really going for it. So beware if she really catches one. 74.62 in second place. This is the other Chinese athlete that has made this hammer final, Wang Zhen, the Asian champion. She's slightly down on her compatriots distance at the moment. She's off balance, but boy, is she powerful, and that crashes down on the 75-meter line. Well, if anybody's wondering what happened to Yipsy Moreno, 3 times the world champion, she's thrown 74 meters, so she's in there fighting in what is her 6th final. But that's an excellent throw by Wang. That's got to be a lifetime best. Indeed it is. 74.90. China in second and third place.
Time now to recap a little bit on those 1500-metre semi-finals. The second semi-final, as we suspected, a bit quicker, a little bit more competitive, Paula.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these guys came out, and if they've got any sense, they will have looked up at the scoreboard and they'll have seen how slow the previous heat was, so they know that essentially 7 can go through, and they went through 800 metres 10 seconds quicker. So at this point, they should know that they're racing for a top 7 place. And for me here, Matt Centrowitz on the outside looks the best, actually. He looks really in control and really comfortable, just eases up there onto the shoulder of Chepseva, and then knows that he doesn't need to do any more. He's well clear inside that top 7. And it's good to see the likes of Ingebrigtsen of Norway coming through on the inside, and Nate Brannan and Florian Carvalho there of France finishing fast. So we've got a really good lineup for the final, and some notable names have gone out as well.
5th in London, and Centrowitz got the bronze in London, so You know, you've got a really competitive field. I guess the question then is, we saw that magnificent run from Chris O'Hare in the first semi-final. How much more can we expect from him? And, you know, should we just temper our expectations a little bit?
I think a lot depends on the type of race that's run in the final. I think if we see a slow race with a burnout, then I think Chris O'Hare has got a very good chance of being in there in the mix. And then it is all about tactics and about placing yourself in the right place. We know he's got the speed to finish, and if he recovers well from tonight, he's got a really good chance. If it goes out fast and it's going down into the 332's territory, then I think he's going to find it tough.
Centrovitz looked very composed, relaxed, ran a good race there.
Yeah, he did, and keeping it going for the Americans, because the first heat, I mean, it was terrible for the Americans. But Centrovitz has always been that type of runner, very smooth, and in that race he was totally in control, which is not always the situation with him. He's had to come from behind a lot of times, but today he was very much in control.
Nice to see you here, Denise.
Hey. Just echoing what you said actually there. It's amazing the Americans are finding a rich vein of middle distance running right now. It's really exciting and great for Chris O'Hare. I think showing that gutsy running does pay off in these type of races.
Yeah, we saw some good performances in the 800 and into the women's 1500 as well. So things are looking good in the middle distances for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're finding the talent. The problem is it's not all coming through at the championship level. And so in one of the problems that we talked about this before is a little bit of over racing and not being able to find that consistency. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of talent and always has been in the U.S. and we're finding that talent because we have the great collegiate and university system to be able to identify talent. The problem is being able to then transition that talent from the junior level, collegiate level, up to the senior level and be effective there.
Okay, on Wednesday it was a long jump qualification here in the morning without, of course, Chris Tomlinson, but with our Olympic champion Greg Rutherford. It was perhaps one of the most contentious selection decisions. Tomlinson had jumped further than Rutherford this season, but neither had achieved the A standard. So on Wednesday morning, Rutherford was looking to evoke his Olympic gold medal winning form.
Rutherford is the Olympic champion.
What a day it was last year. Greg Rutherford goes in the first round of qualifying for the long jump final. 7:81 for Greg, but he does need more. The Olympic champion going in the second round. Only 7:57. Greg Rutherford may be in a bit of trouble. So here we go, last attempt in qualifying. Knows it wasn't quite right. Greg Rutherford is not going to contest the World Championship final on Friday. A massive disappointment for the Olympic champion.
The season hadn't been going too badly up until the point in Paris where, sadly, I ruptured one of my hamstrings. So, I mean, I broke all the rules in sort of rehabbing quicker than anybody's ever, I think, done in history from a ruptured hamstring. And I felt fantastic, and I've been incredibly confident the last week. Training had been going really, really well. I got up this morning and I thought this is going to be a good day. And I'll tell you what, I gave it absolutely everything out there. We had to make a lot of adaptations to make it work, and it didn't. That's the hard facts. It's amazing how different a year can be. I think I knew after that final jump when I saw 87 come up that wasn't going to be long enough, and if it would have been long enough, that's not exactly particularly competitive. Sadly, I think I just felt better than I actually was today. I just wasn't good enough today, and that's the hard facts.
At the very beginning of this championship, Denise, we talked about the World Championship post-Olympic year and how for some people it can be a chance of redemption, for other people it's a chance to cement your legend, if you like. It's been a really disappointing season for Greg, and this just kind of topped it off or bottomed it off.
Well, I guess it depends whether you go into the following season healthy, because that is the first challenge for a lot of athletes who have spent the whole Olympic cycle building up to something like London Games. And Greg, as we know, is very fragile. He gets a lot of injuries, and for him it is about managing his body. But what I will say is, as a reigning Olympic champion, he does deserve the benefit of the doubt, and I think if he's made a decision that he can take a chance to be here, then he should.
Why not bring both, Tomlinson? I guess that's what you're referring to there about his selection.
Yes.
Why not bring both of them then?
I would have, but I'm not a selector, because I think, judging by the standard of the men's long jump right now, there's nothing to lose having that extra man in the team. We were not travelling halfway across the world. He would have possibly gone through, or not, as the case may be, but let him have the opportunity to compete.
But can they bring two if they don't have the A standard?
Well, the thing is with our selection, it varies so much from event to event. There is no consistency, and that's the real problem.
You evoke clause 5, I think, don't you? You invoke clause 5 if
right.
you want to bring athletes without the A standard. So, I guess as Olympic champion, the selectors say yes, as Denise says, you deserve it. But Tomlinson must feel really hard done by at home watching this.
Absolutely, and I completely agree with Denise. I mean, as Olympic champion, you give the athlete that opportunity. But, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. I would hope that the selectors and the coaches would have met with him, to get an understanding of where he is, and then they've got to make that decision. So, we can sit here and say, oh, why didn't you just do this, or you should have done that, but you never know what's going on behind the scenes.
One thing's for sure, though, it's kind of the opposite to the high jump at the moment, isn't it, in terms of the distances being jumped. I mean, last year obviously was one of the shortest distances to win a gold medal in the Olympic Games history in the long jump, and it doesn't seem to be kind of pushing on in the way that the high jump has this season.
No, I mean, I guess that's the way that athletics goes, that some events have good years, some events have down years, and I think that's one thing that probably makes it very hard when they do come to sit down and set those A standards and B standards.
Which you just wonder how many men out there today are going to actually jump the A standard, because it's quite high.
Right, I mean, you look at it, we've only got one American in the long jump, Dwight Phillips. He hasn't even jumped 850 this year. I mean, he's a phenomenal long jumper in the past. He hasn't even jumped 850, so that event, the standard is extremely low. But as Paula said, and we've talked about this with the high jump, these things ebb and flow.
Absolutely. Let's get out there, shall we? Because the first jumps have taken place. Paul Dickinson watching the men's long jump final.
Just to the left of the hammer cage is the long jump run-up. There is the lineup. Dwight Phillips, the 4-time champion, who actually hasn't even jumped 8 meters this year, let alone 850. But Dwight Phillips jumps second from the top. It's Geyser of the Netherlands who starts first. Mokoena of South Africa, he's very good. Alexander Menkov, the best in Europe at the moment. Caceres of Spain, he was the longest qualifier at 8:25, and Damar Forbes finishes off each round. So Dwight Phillips, he's already pretty immortal when it comes to World Championships, having won 4 titles. 2003 was his first. That could be very close to his season's best, but it is a red flag. This is one of these events where it's almost impossible to say who is going to be the favourite. Maybe it could be Kotso Mokoena, world indoor champion in the past, an Olympic silver medalist back in Beijing. 8:30 he's achieved this year. So here goes the South African in the first round. Always gets tremendous height. A little bit deceptive, lots of height, but in actual fact, not a huge amount of distance. I think it's safe to say that Mike Powell's championship record will be safe. 8 meters 95, which coincidentally happens to be the world record too. What a night that was back in 1991, and a very sultry evening in Tokyo. That's a great picture, isn't it? All of these men trying to convert horizontal speed with lift and distance. The first man over 8 meters exactly.
Be across the long jump, of course, this evening, and you may hear peaks and troughs of noise because Menkov is a big favourite in this as well, so expect the crowd to go wild if he gets a big one. Let's cross to our commentary box now, because I hear we have quite a special guest in there. Jamaica's Johan Blake is at these championships enjoying the athletics, sitting it out, of course, because of injury. Good evening, Johan.
Good evening.
How are you finding it so far, and what was it like at the weekend watching your 100-metre crown go?
Well, definitely tears was in my eyes, but nevertheless, Jamaica did really well. Usain Bolt, he did really well.
Tell us about your injury.
Well, my injury, I'm right 95% right now. I wasn't going to fit enough for this championship, so I decided to call it a year, come back and start fresh next year.
Is it quite frustrating though, watching all this, watching your teammates, watching the people that you know and you see on the circuit all the time, going out there and performing?
I was camping with them back in London, and I'm telling you, every day when they get up for training, I wish I was going with them. It's very emotional for me, but I'm looking towards the future because there's good things to come, so I don't really think about it that much.
Well, okay, have a little think about our British 200-metre runners, if you will. Did you see them this morning in qualifying?
Yeah, definitely, I should say, they stand out really well. The first heat with Ellington, he did really well. I think he's in a tough heat. And also Adams, he's running pretty well, run a personal best. And I think he's in E3. He should qualify from there. You know, he looked good in qualifying this morning.
And is it right that Delano Williams is either training with you now or he's going to be joining your training group?
Well, actually, he's going to join our training group. He looked really well this morning also, so he'll probably go through as well.
He seemed to have there's Warren Weir, he seemed to have a nice rapport with Mr. Bolt as well this morning.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Usain, one time they came into the camp, Usain tried to make everyone feel welcome, and this morning he was happy when he drew heat with Usain Bolt, so it was just a stroll in the park for both of them.
And Usain, as always, I mean, you get used to it, I guess, but wherever he goes, you know, the crowds love him. And the other night, it was incredible, wasn't it, when it rained just before his race? And he always comes up with something original, doesn't he? It was the umbrella the other night. What kind of form do you think he's in for the 200 metres?
Well, Usain is a character, you know, he like to keep the crowd entertained. And I think if you look back from the 100, he's not up to his full best. I think he's in a good nick for the 200 meter because that race, that is his baby, that race, you know, and he take that personal. That's what he told me, and I think he's going out there for something special.
Well, thank you for talking to us, Johan. Enjoy the rest of it if you can. I know it must be frustrating.
Thank you.
Take care. We look forward to seeing you again on the circuit next year. It is almost time for the first of those semi-finals. Jimmy Vico of France, who was disappointing for him in the 100 metres. Warren Weir and their Delano Williams going for Great Britain. Steve Cram is commentating on this one.
So Delano Williams right on the outside. That's not the best lane draw, obviously, and given the fact that he was in Bolt's heat and you come second, and then it is about the look of the draw after that. It's not as bad as being on the inside, so he is going to have to concentrate though. Quinones is on the inside of Ecuador. We've got Lalande Gordon of Trinidad and Tobago. He's having a busy couple of days. I'll come back to that in a second. Warren Weir, Olympic bronze medalist in 3. Saidi Ndure of Norway is in 4. Curtis Mitchell of the United States in 5. Hortelano of Spain, then Jimmy Vico and Delano Williams. Well, Warren Weir looked exceptionally relaxed this morning. Saidi Ndure looked much better than he has done for much of the season. And outside him, Curtis Mitchell, the two of them are getting sick of the sight of each other. I think they've raced each other in Lucerne recently, and then they were in the same heat this morning, and then the same semi-final again tonight. And talking about two men in the same semi-final, outside them, Bruno Hortelano of Spain ran very well. A little European battle went on for the minor places, and he broke the Spanish record when he outleaned Jimmy Vico. He ran 20.47. Vico just got caught on the line by him. So they're together as well. Must have been quite a bunch of chatter going on in warm-up, Colin. Everybody very friendly. And of course Delano Williams, as we've heard, set to be part of that Jamaican training group. But he's got to have to be really on the ball here. It's top 2 and 2 fastest losers and maybe 2 quicker semis to come, perhaps.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Johan about this first semi-final, and I was saying to him, what's his thoughts? And as he glanced through the list, he did think to me and say to me he thinks this is the easier of all the 3 semi-finals. But you know what it's like, Steve, semi-final stages, none of them are easy. You're always going to have to run. Someone's going to cause some type of surprise and going to run out of their socks. Who is it going to be? That is the big question.
Really interested to see if we see this guy later on this evening in the 4x4. He's a key member of the Trinidad and Tobago team normally. He helped them qualify yesterday, and then he's qualified for the 200 semi-final. He's trying to get into the 200 final. The 4x4 is later on. Good luck, mate. He's got a big evening ahead of him, perhaps. It might be, well, I think it would be a surprise if he got in the top 2 here. So Delano Williams, this 19-year-old world junior champion, now running for Great Britain. Turks and Caicos Islands, his home. Jimmy Vico, Hortelano as we go down the line. Curtis Mitchell, Saidi Ndure, Warren Weir, Lalande Gordon and Quinones on the inside. Top 2 through to tomorrow's final. clean start. Williams got a pretty good start. Jimmy V. Cole's gone better through the first 50-metre zone. Is already running down. Saidi Ndure going well, so's Warren Weir. And it's Saidi Ndure, Warren Weir, Curtis Mitchell, Jimmy V. Cole. These four start to pull clear. Delano Williams is miles behind. And it's Curtis Mitchell, the American, coming away. Warren Weir will have on to second, Saidi Ndure third, and I make him seventh. Delano Williams ran a terrible bend, but as Mitchell happy, he's pumped just for a second there. The way he was walking, I thought he'd cramped up. But what a race from Mitchell. You know, we don't know too much about him, Colin. He only ran under 20 seconds for the first time in the American trials, but that was pretty impressive.
It was very impressive. Very, very impressive. I think he surprised everybody. And it's exactly what we were talking about, Steve. Come the semi-final stage, you just never know who's going to pull out that really magical performance. And I think even Warren Weir was surprised. And wow, the speed that Mitchell showed there was unreal. Came down the home straight, strong, powerful. And look at his knee lift. He's keeping his knees going the whole way down there. And boy, oh boy, let's watch out for him that final.
Well, this was always going to be tough for Delano Williams. It looked on paper like it was going to be the easier heat because this morning Curtis Mitchell didn't run too well, but he carried a lot of people. Saidi Ndure is one of them, through to a great time, but a little bit tight here. And we talked about this morning with Delano Williams. He was tight on the curve and a little bit off balance and not real smooth. That really takes a toll on you when you have to fight around that bend and then get on the straight. And now you can see it's getting a little bit tougher and tougher for him each step. In addition to that, you know you're fighting for a place in the final now, and so you're looking around, you're seeing where you are. They're not coming back to him, and he's very young, so he's probably pressing a little bit, trying to give a little bit more effort, but at that point, you're already running as fast as you can. There is no more effort to give.
Oh, Warren Weir and Delano Williams are down here with me. Through safely to the final, yet another final for you. Your reaction to your race, first of all, Warren?
Qualified. That was the key. No, to get some rest for tomorrow.
Is there anything you need to work on, especially having watched some of your race back, do you think?
No, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Everything is in order. It's just to come out tomorrow and deliver.
What do you think about this guy here at your side who's going to be joining your training group, or with your training group already?
I'm only afraid. He's one for the future, and I'll be watching my back.
Listen, we'll let you go and talk to other people in the mix zone. I'm sure you're going to be popular. Thanks for talking to us.
All right, no problem.
Thanks to Warren and Delano. Well done to you. What a day you've had. Hard work out there tonight, I know, but this is all part of the learning curve for you.
Yes, as I said, it's all about experience, you know. It's been good. I mean, I reached the semi-finals, but nevertheless, I mean, I'm still motivated, still getting into races camp, so I mean, this is just a step for me, all about experience. So I'd like to say thank you to my coach, Neil Harrison. Thank you for Glenn Mills. Thank you for Turks and Caicos for getting me here. Also UK Athletics, and also my school, Monroe College. So thank you very much.
Now, how about the prospect of you working with these guys more often? You had Bolt with you this morning, and obviously Warren Weir. We've got Johan Blake in the commentary box.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really liking the experience here. I mean, running with a world-class athletes. I mean, wow, it's been great so far. And just gonna look at my competition, like Adam Jamila's coming up, James Akamasai, hoping that they do better than me and make it to the finals.
All the very best. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Time for Delano Williams, 20.61 in 7th place. Mitchell, the revelation there, 19.97. That's a new personal best, taking 200ths off the time he set in the American trials. Warren Weir surprised, I think, a little to come second there, but he's through 20.20.
Well, this is speed of a different sort. It's all rotation now for Anita Vlodicic, the former world record holder, which is actually the championship record throw which he launched in Berlin to win the World Championships. Now then, the pole in pretty good form, a little bit off balance at the end, but it's flying, and that could challenge Lysenko's lead. That's coming at pretty much exactly the right time. We're in the 3rd round. There's the first toe turn, then it's heel toe all the way. Well, Lysenko's best throw so far, 77.58. That's one of the longest throws in history. And Vlodicic, 77.59. The pole is in the lead. Well, can Tatiana Lysenko respond to that? 2 throws already over 77 meters. Her body language so far has been full of confidence, but what will that throw by Wlodarczyk do to her? She's got to stay relaxed, but go for it. She seemed to get a hold of it. Again, it's over 75 meters, but it's not going to be enough. There's a whole array of former hammer throwers behind the cage there. And interestingly, one of the throwers, Oksana Kondratieva of Russia, her mum is there. She's her coach, Ludmila Kondratieva, who's actually the former Olympic champion at 100 meters, which she won here in 1980. So a return to this stadium for her. But Lysenko, 76.34 in second place.
Well, a very impressive performance from Curtis Mitchell in that first semi-final, going under 20 seconds, but he's here and on the big screen and preening away. I think we've already heard from the only man who could really challenge him. That would be a fully fit Johan Blake. There is Jason Livermore outside him, third in the Jamaican Championships. So Johan Blake was roaring behind us, roaring Warren Weir over the line. There is James Ellington, the second of three Britons in these semi-finals. Personal best this year, 24.2. Concentrate on trying to beat that. Try not to be fazed by the looming figure in lane 4. Antoine Adams, he's actually run 21.3 this season. Just another idea of the task facing James Ellington. And Isaiah Young, effectively the US champion, finished second in Des Moines to Tyson Gay. But he was either keeping a lot in reserve in the first round or he's not in top form. He was a long way behind Adam Jamili. The ones you didn't see, Shota Izuka of Japan in 1, Karol Zalewski of Poland in 2, and Anaso Jobodwana of South Africa in 3. Just inside this man, Usain Bolt. Talking of rising stars, the big talent Jobodwana. When Bolt asks for quiet, everyone obeys. I wonder if he might get close to Morny Nagel's South African record. So Shota Izuka in 1, Karol Zalewski in 2, Anaso Jobodwana in 3, Usain Bolt in 4, Livermore in 5, James Ellington goes in 6. He doesn't need help. Antoine Adams in 7 and Isaiah Young in lane 8. The second of 3 semi-finals in the men's 200 metres. So away they go, and Bolt tries to make an impact in the first 100 already. He's up and passing Jason Livermore, and Bolt is cruising round the bend at the moment. James Ellington running well into the straights, trying to live with Usain Bolt, but here goes Bolt and running well. Anaso Jobodwana, also the South African. Bolt easing down, looking around, just makes sure he gets the win ahead of Jobodwana. Very good run from the South African. It is Usain Bolt and Anaso Jobodwana who are the first two to go through. They go through automatically.
It was a nice, competent bit of running by Usain Bolt. Got out the blocks well, just did enough around the turn. He didn't tax himself. He just was making sure that all his opponents knew he was there. Knew at any stage that it was going to be necessary, he was going to put his foot down and glide away from the field. And look how he does that, literally, with very little effort. I'm looking really at James to see what he's doing, how he's battling his way through, because he's run very well to sneak into that 4th place, I think. South African inside Usain Bolt, we saw him run very well, powerfully this morning. Everybody has to step up, of course, their level in the semi-final. Some of the athletes look a little bit more jaded than others, but Usain in full control.
Yeah, just looking at Ellington coming through there, and Michael Johnson, we'll have a look at him.
Yeah, you know, that was a great start by Ellington right there, but he's very, very tight in his upper body. This was always going to be a tough one for him with Bolt in there, Jobodwana, but it was always going to be tough. Very tight up in his upper body, and I think that's going to be the best area for him to try to improve and get a little bit more off that time. It was going to be difficult for him to get into this final with the times that he's run this year, with a personal best of 2013. He's got to get down into that, 2042. He's got to get down into the 20.1s in order to start making these finals.
Well, Usain's having fun watching himself back on the big screen. What's going through your mind as you come down the home straight there?
No, I was trying to take it easy. I saw the United States runner young, so I was watching him, trying to pace myself. And then the last minute, I heard footsteps beside me, so I looked across and the Brazilian guy was right there. South African was right up on me, so I had to change gears a little bit.
You said you're not a morning person, you're most definitely an evening person. What are you going to be like tomorrow evening? What's in store for us?
Well, a good day's rest. I'm going to come out here on the fastest I can go. I'm feeling all right. Just going to get it done, pretty much.
I've got a gift for you. I know this from the other night was a rather special moment, like a 1 in a million photo. It's been called the photograph of the century. I'll point out the guy who took it later on for you so you can say thanks in the future. But what do you think of that? And I mean, how magical is that moment?
It's just an amazing moment. It's been all over the media. It's been great. So just one of those pictures. Now, as I said, I want to be remembered, and picture will help.
Well, he's going to make a formal presentation in the future to you, I know. But for now, that'll do, I think.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's the man who took his down, and they're peering round from the back. Chap from Agence France Presse. You got my photo? Good. Don't get it sweaty. So let's have a look at the result from that, because, well, good win for Usain Bolt. Not as quick as Curtis Mitchell, but he's got another couple of Bolt gears to go to, perhaps. Very good run from Jabadwana, equaling his personal best. Isaiah Young is in one of those fastest losers at the moment, along with Saidi Nduri. James Ellington has missed out, but a good run, and he's talking to Phil now.
Yeah, James was patient while we're doing a bit of a presentation to you, saying thanks for that. Assess your run for us. I don't think it's going to get you through, but nonetheless, how would you assess how you acquitted yourself today, James?
I gave it my best, you know. I would have liked to have made the final. I think I was capable of it. I was capable of running around 20.2 today, but I just didn't do it. And it's pretty hard when you see them big ostrich legs come past you on the inside. But like I said, I gave it my best. Consistent. I'm running well. And I can only build on this year's consistent season for the next few years and have many more great seasons.
It's an exciting time for sprinting in Britain right now.
Yeah, it is indeed. We've got loads of young and up-and-coming sprinters coming through, and just want to get this relay done now.
Yeah, we wish you well for that. Yeah. Big hopes for you there. All the best, James.
Cheers, Phil. Thanks.
Well, Tatiana Lysenko led in rounds 1 and 2 and then found herself in second place after that huge throw by the former world champion Wlodarczyk. She still leads 77-79. What has Lysenko got in reserve? That's big, very big indeed. And Wlodarczyk looking a little bit concerned. Well, what a competition. We're into the 4th round now. Such a shame that British record holder Sophie Hitchen was not there. By her own admission, she was under par, but she would have enjoyed this experience. That is a huge throw, one of the longest in history. The world record, just as a matter of interest, 79.42 by Betty Hyder. That's not far short, but it's a new championship record, 78.80, and it's a new Russian record too.
Well, over on the far side near that hammer cage, Adam Jamili will be nervous, just waiting for his chance. All of those huge cheers reverberating around the Luzhniki Stadium. Just needs to concentrate and, well, do what he did this morning, really. More of that, please. And if he runs like that, I think he'll be okay here. He's got Wallace Spearman, we'll see him in a second. He's in lane 1. This is Tsakonas of Greece. Then we've got Alonso Edward, who was the silver medalist in Berlin 4 years ago. 20:37 is best this year, not in the sort of shape that some run like that in 2009. Nikal Ashmead will be a threat, undoubtedly. He's been in good form this year. Ran in the 100 meters, performed well. Yet to go into 20 seconds this season, though. Outside him, the very experienced Chirandi Martina of the Netherlands. Again, will be a threat to Adam Jamili. So the young Sturgis, 19 years of age, still developing, still sometimes gets it very right as he did this morning, can occasionally get it a little bit wrong. I know his coach Michael Apalaka saying You know, it's that consistency of performance that athletes need to start to step up to. And as I said, a repeat of this morning would be excellent. Smelik finished very, very quickly this morning and dragged himself to a personal best to sneak through into the semi-final. And on the outside, from Lesotho, Mozito Lahata. So he's on the outside in lane 8, better out there than on the inside in lane 1. But Wallace Spearman has a lot of experience, has won medals at the World Championships in 2005, 7 and 9. And despite that, and Colin and I were remarking this morning, he's still only 28. Third in London when he ran 20.18, Spearman, and Adam Jamili on that occasion winning the B race over 100 metres. Of course, not in the team over 100. He went to the European Under-23 Championships. He actually only finished 4th in the 200. He really didn't run very well in this event at the European Under-23s in Tampere. And I think that had a few question marks going. But scintillating form this morning. A big personal best. Right up there on the all-time list for Great Britain. 20.17. But he's got those experienced athletes inside him. Martina and Ashmead. There's Ashmead, the Jamaican. Third semi-final, top 2 only to go through. If you're going to come 4th, got to be quicker than 20.36. Jamili gets a good start, takes a half a yard out of Chirandi Martina. Now he needs to run a good bend. Mikael Ashmead going well, and so now is Chirandi Martina. Jamili right with these two though. It might just be the Jamaican who's just got a half a metre lead. And Adam Jamili is right there with him and running strong and running very fast. And he might just win this. Adam Jamili doesn't need to though. Yes, he does. 19.98. Second fastest ever on the British all-time list. Only the second man ever to break 20 seconds for Great Britain. John Regis still the British record holder. Yes, you, Adam Jamili, you just won that. And you ran under 20 seconds. And if they didn't know who he was, goodness me, they do now.
19.98. Adam Jamili from lane 6. And one thing I love about this young man, he's full of energy and he enjoys his running. And I think you can see that he's full of running. He loves athletics. Left the football game to join us in athletics. And boy, what a great decision that was for this young man. We always were worrying whether he'd have enough endurance, because we already saw him specialise over the 100 metres last year. And of course we thought that he's very young and he hasn't got any endurance base behind him. But I can assure you, I think all of us have changed our minds. Adam Jamili, 19.98, and enjoying his running. Wonderful position for him, taking on the Jamaicans and beating them at their own game. I'm going to run up very shortly and have a word with Johan Blake and say to him, Johan, what do you think of this young man, eh? Is he a threat? Wonderful.
Well, Adam Jamili got a great start there, and actually he backed off just a little bit at that point, and Chirandi Martini came up and made a little bit of a move on him, but he's running a very smooth curve. We talked about his form and a nice transition onto the straight, and now he feels much more comfortable at this point, and that form takes over. This is where he actually did the best thing you could possibly do. Lean at the tape, get yourself under 20 seconds. That 20 seconds is the magical barrier that you want to be under. That puts him among some of the best 200-meter runners in the history of the event in a semifinal. So now his confidence should be even higher. Again, we've talked about his form. Very, very nice technique here. Not as relaxed as he was this morning in the preliminaries, but this is what you want. Now at the end, give it everything you possibly can now. Nice job. Great performance.
Oh, what a great face at the end. He's laughing at that face, Adam. But you know what? You can pull any kind of face when you've just become the second fastest Briton of all time, only the second to run sub 20 behind John Regis. How amazing by what you've been able to achieve.
I can't believe it. Honestly, that is the best feeling in the world. 20 seconds to break that. Really trying to first year focusing on the 200 metres. I'm over the moon. I can't
tell everybody what you said when you first came off, because you were in disbelief. Is that me, you said?
Yeah, I didn't realise it was me. I was looking across it when I crossed the line. I didn't know if I qualified. I made the final and I've run a PB, and I'm so grateful. I've got so many people that I have to thank, but I've still got to focus on the final for tomorrow and stuff. So I'm just gonna get back, recover, and focus on that.
Well, now you've done this and you've gone sub 20. You know, dare we hope for more tomorrow? We're being greedy now.
I'm happy with how that performance went. If whatever happens now, I put myself in amongst the fastest 200-meter guys in the world, so I can't ask for more than that. So.
Here you are with, you know, Usain Bolt in the 200-meter final at the World Championship.
It's crazy. I can't, speechless.
Congratulations.
The sport's had a bit of negativity, I think, recently. So anyone watching at home, I've been getting a lot of messages people saying, oh, I'm a bit anxious of doing athletics and stuff like that. They say it's not credible. So anyone that's at home, there's such a big variety of events to take part in. Just go down to your local track and trust me, you will fall in love with it. So please, guys, just go. The sport isn't bad. The sport isn't anything. Please, we promote clean sport, so just take part.
Great example you've set, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, he can get a job promoting the sport, can't he? Any PR agency will buy him up with that, but why not? That's a brilliant performance. And you know, it's not, obviously we're putting into context from a British point of view. In terms of these championships, that's now the 7th fastest in the world this year, but Gay isn't here, Jason Young isn't here either, so he's into that medal zone now. 1998, big personal best. Ashmead taking the 2nd spot. Chirandi Martina will join Saidi Ndure from Heat 1 as a fastest loser into that final. Well, sometimes you could tell you're not quite sure yourself what you've done. When you're at the top of your game, you know, you sometimes surprise yourself. And wasn't it good to see that reaction? He didn't even know he'd won the race. Brilliant.
Back to the hammer. Anita Vlodacik has just seen Tatiana Lysenko launch the hammer out to one of the longest throws in history, 78 meters 80. What has the former world record holder got in reserve now? Again, she's off balance, but she always is, but she produced fantastic speed there. Looks a little bit impassive. I'm not sure she realizes just how good that is. Lysenko may be a little bit worried after she threw that championship record. She must have thought, I've cracked it now. I've got the world championship again, but Vlodacik has come back. Vlodacik has hit back. Oh, it's a new Polish record, 78.46. What a fantastic competition. Well, earlier on this year, Luis Rivera of Mexico really stamped his authority on the world of long jump. And he actually beat Menkov as well, and that is good. And we've been talking quite a lot about Alexander Menkov of Russia, and of course the Russian is in front of his home crowd. But Rivera is the only man to beat the Russian this year. And he did it in the World Student Games final earlier on this season. Rivera 8.46, best in the world this year. If he can get anywhere near that, not quite as good. 8.16 though, he's in the medal hunt. But this guy, Eusebio Cáceres of Spain, led the qualifying group that he was in, led all the qualifiers, over 30 of them, with 8 meters 25. That's good. Solid jumping once again by the Spaniard. Tremendous atmosphere in the stadium again, largely as a result of a very partisan crowd being on the side of Alexander Menkov and Tatiana Lysenko in the women's hammer final. Cáceres there, rising to the occasion. Needs a bit more, perhaps. No, he's in first place. That is a duplicate jump to the one he jumped in the qualifying rounds. Ignatius Geyser now, formerly of Ghana, where he became Commonwealth Games champion, now representing the Netherlands. And if this guy's on form, he can really jump. Oh yes, that's over 8 meters, no doubt about that. He's quite diminutive in terms of stature, but super smooth, good lift and good distance. Cáceres' distance there with that superimposed green line across the pit, 8.25, that leads at the moment. But 8:17, Dutch athlete moves into third place. Well, Christian Reef, 8:18, he led this final just for a little while. European champion back in 2010. And that looks very useful. He could be in the hunt for a medal again with that. Well, Christian Reef really was sensational at the European Championships in 2010. He improved from 8:27 to 8:47. He's not in that sort of form here, but it's still a useful effort. And the German moves into second with 8:22. Well, nobody is getting as much support as this guy in the stadium right now. Alexander Menkov. He's only lost one meet this year. That was the World Student Games. Came to London, won there, came to Birmingham, won there too. Yes! That is big! He finally got one absolutely right, and he exploded into the sand. That's got to be the longest jump in the world this year. Perhaps even the longest of his life. That was perfection for the young Russian. What has he done? 8:52, a massive lifetime best. And he's actually broken the 25-year-old record, the Russian record of Leonid Voloshin. Well, this stadium has really come to life because of what Menkov achieved a few moments ago. But Wlodarczyk, can she catch Lysenko? A little bit off to the right-hand side, and she caught the netting there. Ironic applause from the crowd, because they could see that Lysenko was still in the lead. So Wlodarczyk has only got one throw to go. Can she become champion once more, or will Lysenko win a world title once more? It's all to go for. The Pole already setting a new national record with one of the greatest throws in history, but she's still in second place.
So Lysenko and Menkov giving the crowd here a really fabulous Friday evening. We're fantastically excited though about Adam Gemili, and just when he said that about being inspired by the sport, and if you want to do athletics, I'll just reiterate that go to the BBC website, because the Inspire project we have on there will lead you to all kinds of clubs and activities. And I know you were all nodding your heads in agreement. You know, he, in that moment, Michael, a brilliant individual performance. He had the presence of mind to want to promote his sport as well.
But I think that's because, I mean, it was extremely genuine, and that's because he's experiencing such success out here, you know, and he's on a high, and he's like, look, you know, everybody should experience this. Well, Adam, everybody can't, because everybody doesn't have your talent, which we're seeing right here, because this is incredible, and we've known that he has great talent, but he is displaying it here now. He's obviously being very, very well coached, because he's running perfect in these 200 meters in terms of how he's executing his race. He's executing his race to his level of talent and to his skill set, which is great technique, good, really good turnover. And the only thing that I would have said going into the 200 meters is, hey, if you're going to start really taking them to 200 meters, work on your speed endurance. And that obviously is what he and his coach have been working on, because you can't run under 20 seconds without great speed endurance. You have to put all of those things together, which he's been doing. So this is phenomenal for him. The only concern I'd have at this point is now there's going to be expectation. He's going to expect to come out and run these times, which isn't such a danger for tomorrow's final. So hopefully he can get in there and get a medal tomorrow, because after this, once he leaves these championships, then he gets back home. Everybody knows you're great, you're one of the best, and then the expectation comes, and you're a different athlete when you're running with that expectation than when everything is just upside. Yeah,
because we said when we saw how well he ran this morning, wanted him to enjoy and feel just as relaxed and look just as relaxed as he did, and he did that, didn't he? On the start box he was smiling, and you want him to retain that sense of joy in what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bubbly kid, he really is, and his mom, he's just like his mom. I'm sure if she's not here in the stadium, she will be jumping up and down at home. But Michael's right, it is about enjoying the sport as well, but the replication of doing, you know, he ran predominantly the same way as he ran in the heats, and he just needs to do it again in the final. There is not much to criticise there, and he just has to believe now. The danger is that because he might think I've broken 20 seconds, is that he just relaxes too much, where he needs to be in there realistically fighting.
It's a fantastic opportunity, isn't it? He's going to have the best lane draw. He's the fastest going into the final. The rest of the field are going to be going, okay, we've got a new guy on the blocks, we've got to look out for him. So he's in a brilliant position.
He's in a very good position. He's sent up some warning flares. He's got the others a little bit wary, but he's also got himself on a high because he's gone out and run really well. So I think he just needs to go in and enjoy it and just really make the most of the opportunity he's got, because he will have a very good lane draw now. I think he'll be second fastest going in.
Yeah, and he'll be right there. He'll be right there in the mix with Bolt. He'll either be on the inside of him or the outside of him. He can't worry about him. You're exactly right. There's a danger on both sides. There's a danger that he gets too relaxed and thinks, because it's been easy, this is easy, let's go out and run, push the button, go out and it happens, I run fast. That's one danger. The other danger is he says, okay, now I know I've got to really run faster, and I know I can, so I'm going to really, really try. And then we don't see what we've been seeing out there, which is this great execution and very relaxed on the curve, really nice transition from the curve to the bend. And that's where he's been really good. If he gets a lane on the outside, he's going to put a lot of pressure on. Let's take Bolt out of it. Let's talk about some of the other people. He's going to put a lot of pressure on people like Curtis Mitchell from the U.S., who ran really, really well in that round. Warren Weir will be one of the other people, and I'm talking about the people that I think he's going to have to beat out for medals. Exactly.
Sorry, Denise.
I'd just like to say, we always felt that, coming into these championships, and especially last year actually, that he needed another winter of work. I mean, this guy's come from football, probably not the same depth of training as you do in track and field, and it's just paying dividends. And I just believe there is still more to come. I mean, what do you think about technically his arms? I mean,
well, it's the right arm is slightly. I mean, it's hard to criticize when you're seeing that.
Second British man to go in 20 seconds.
What I did see is the right arm goes, you're exactly right, the right arm goes back just a little too far. So you get your power from your arm. So if power comes from here, if you keep this arm too straight, you may as well just tie it behind your back, because you're robbing yourself of power. That's the one thing that I see with him, and it does get a little bit wide, which helps him on the curve. Yes. But he keeps doing it once he gets on the straight. So there you see that right arm still going out wide on the straight.
That was his throwback to football when he was trying to get rid of defenders who were about to steal the ball.
Right. Now, if Usain Bolt is on the outside, he will be the defender. He will want to try to keep that arm going.
But it's not a criticism. We want the best for our athletes, and we believe, and I certainly believe, that he can run faster. So if
he can make even more tweaks, Denise, to his performance and get even better, then that can only be a good thing.
Well.
An enjoyable evening so far here in the Luzhniki Stadium. We have the women's 800-metre semi-finals coming up as well. Great Britain has Laura Muir, there she is, and Marilyn Okoro also in these. Let's go down. Andrew Cotter is there for the first one.
Well, we're seeing the flourishing of some young British talent in the Luzhniki Stadium this evening. 22-year-old Chris Hare, 19-year-old Adam Jamili moving through to their finals. 20-year-old Laura Muir goes in the 800 metres semi-finals in a moment. But let's quickly wrap up the qualifiers in the 200 metres.
Yes, Mitchell with the quickest time, just by 100th of a second. Both of them running personal bests. He and Jamili, Ashmead, Bolt, Jobudwana, perhaps a threat. Martina Weir, Saidi Nduri and Martina, the two fastest losers.
And the atmosphere, as it has been in the evenings in the Luzhniki Stadium, is lifting. Wonderful again. Laura Muir goes here, but three very strong athletes in the middle there. Two Americans, and Alicia Montano, Brenda Martinez and Poistogova will take the cheers of the crowd. It will be very, very difficult indeed for Laura Muir to make it through to the final. But to get here, she had a very, very strong finish. I'm not sure she knows what her best distance is yet. She thought she might qualify for the 1500 metres, or the British team didn't. Got into the 800, but she showed that 1500 metre pace towards the end.
Well, she's a strong athlete. She's stronger than she is fast. And the thing is, the future should probably be a better 1500 metre runner and further. But to be honest with you, this is a perfect start to her international career. Running the 800 metres, she's got through so far. She's going to have a tough task here. She's the only athlete in this field that's never broken 2 minutes for 800 metres. So she's got a tough task. But, we've just seen the fighting Scottish spirit with Chris O'Hare earlier. We've had some good performances from the Scottish team. And I'm sure the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow next year are coming to their minds already. It's great.
Yes, Glasgow University student from Milnathort. north of Dunfermline. And they've just been told to wait for a moment and let jog up and down the track for a while. There are a couple of big events going on, of course. We've got the hammer, the shot put men have been introduced, the long jump taking place. So I think we're just going to have to wait for a few moments longer here.
Don't worry, you won't miss any of the 800 meters, but Tatiana Lysenko has had her last throw in the women's final. And all she can do now is sit and wait to see if Anita Wlodarczyk can throw long and snatch the gold medal away from her. She threw a world record when she won the title in Berlin in 2009. She could do the same, you know. Wlodarczyk goes for gold. A little bit off, and I think Lysenko's got the gold medal. Tatiana Lysenko is the world champion once more. Almost a wry smile on the face of Anita Wlodarczyk. There's Zhang, the bronze medalist for China. Great friendship between the two of them, but huge rivalry too. You can easily see Lysenko, when she gets it right, throwing the hammer over the magical mark of 80 meters. Championship record, and the gold medal goes to the home crowd. And Russia's darling on this evening, Tatiana Lysenko, wins the women's hammer.
I think her lap of honour will have to be postponed for a moment, but Russian gold getting the stadium going here again. Right across on the other side of the stadium. The first semi-final of the women's 800 metres just about ready to go now. Laura Muir, reminder, those here for Great Britain in lane 2. There is Linka Mazna of the Czech Republic. Tendency to go out fast and try and hang on. Just to be in this environment, experiencing this atmosphere in the Luzhniki Stadium. For Laura Muir, who'll get her introduction in the moment. Wonderful times, can they get any better? She will have to run close to or better that personal best to get into the final. An outsider, the Russian Yekaterina Paistogova, Olympic bronze medalist last year, just caught Pamela Gelimo there on the line. Gelimo, one of a number of big 800-meter runners, unable to be here. Alicia Monteno, the US champion, had a bit of a niggle with her hamstring, but won her heat. There's Brenda Martinez, finished second to Monteno in the US championships. Very strong 1500-meter runner as well. Halima Hatchlaf of Morocco. And again, just to give you an idea of the task in front of Laura Muir, another one to have gone below 2 minutes and comfortably. Winnie Chebet, the Kenyan champion. It's just the first 3 to go through here automatically. And the Ukrainian fans give voice to their support. You can see the pockets behind her there, the yellow and blue clad supporters. But there will be plenty cheering back in Scotland, back in the UK for Laura Muir. First semi-final of the women's 800 metres. Away they go, and I wonder what pace they'll set as well. Laura Muir just lurked at the back in her first round heat and then used that stamina of the 1500-metre runner to pour through in the finishing straight. And it's gone out reasonably quickly through the American athlete Alicia Monteno, and Laura Muir just sitting in the back alongside Winnie Chebet at the moment.
A fairly swift opening there, 26.9. Well, Laura Muir is actually there because she really hasn't got the speed to get on terms with these athletes, but her strength will tell. She's working hard there, and the fact that she's pacing coming from behind, once they go too quickly, you know, athletes start to die. So she's starting to look strong. She's going to work her way through, and that's a long, long run to the second penultimate athlete, but there's 56.3, and that's a very quick time for the leader. And she's running powerfully, but she may have gone too quickly. The first 200 metres was quick, and Laura Muir is now starting to pick them up. Hopefully, as they begin to tire into the back straight and onto the bend, she can pick off one after another. Muir 58.5, and that's very, very sensible judgment. A sub 2 minute race could be on the cards for Laura Muir, and look at her now, her strength's beginning to tell.
And she's moving past Winnie Chebet. The Kenyan is the first to be gobbled up by Laura Muir. And out in front, Alicia Montaigne went out of that blistering pace, and Muir will try and pick off another couple, but she's starting to tire now, starting to feel this environment, this class of the athletes around her. Montaigne, did she go out too fast? 3 to go through automatically. Alicia Montaigne looking up at the screen, waiting for the line to come, hoping it'll be there. Lupu trying to get through. Martinez, 2 Americans, and the Ukrainian, Yekaterina Postogova, the Russian, trying to get in the first 3. And can she beat the Ukrainian? 2 Americans, 1 and 2. And the Ukrainian, Natalia Lupu, hangs on. Laura Muir coming through in 7th place. And a disappointed look on her face, amongst the exhaustion as well, but no need to be too disappointed. It was a well thought out, well crafted run from Laura Muir, but she found that these athletes were just a little bit too strong for now.
Too strong. All 10 of these athletes, all 8 of these athletes have run, apart from Laura Muir, run under 2 minutes. She hasn't done that. And Montano setting the pace, Lupu following, and Martinez coming with a strong finish. I thought Montano went a little bit quick and she's fading and tiring, but Lupu's just hanging on in 3rd place. And so the overall time, 1:58. And then Laura Muir coming through in 7th place. Don't know what time she's got, but she did go out in 58 seconds. We're just waiting on the computer. There's Montano to go out like she did and then fade like this. That's not a really economical way to do it. Laura Muir, very sadly, because a really strong performance, 2:0.83. So still, she's approached the 2 minute barrier. She hasn't been able to go under it, but she did give everything. And I thought the way the race went, it started to go in her favour. Montano, Martinez and Lupu, and you can see over the shot at the back of those athletes, you can see Laura Muir still working hard in the finishing straight. I think Montano, if she goes like this in the final, she'll struggle on the last lap.
Well, class did tell in the end. Those 2 Americans that we billed at the start coming through along with Lupu. Postogova will have to wait. There are 2 fastest losers places in the final. One more semi-final to come. Let's just tidy up the result for you. Alicia Montaigne and Brenda Martinez going through, Natalia Lupu as well. Laura Muir, 300th of a second outside her personal best on this big stage. Can ask for little more.
And hopefully, Andrew, just a matter of time before you go sub 2 minutes. But first, let's talk about the atmosphere in here tonight and the kind of benefit you're going to get from this when you go forward in your career.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere in here is pretty crazy. I think I got a bit intimidated by it. It's amazing. I love the experience. And I ran my best today, and there was only a few hundreds out my PB there as well. So, no, I'm really pleased.
You maybe have a taste of this at Hampden Park next year, the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, I think Scottish crowds are known for being really patriotic and cheering them on their own, so it's going to be amazing just running there next year, and I'm so looking forward to it.
Finally, the biggest plus point for you from the whole experience so far, from the holding camp through to here?
I think just like the experience in itself. I mean, this is huge, a World Championships. I'm so glad I got the opportunity to compete here. And running an event that, you know, is not necessarily, well, I didn't think it was my best event. So no, I've just loved the whole experience. And a big thank you to everybody that's got me here in Scotland. I've had a huge amount of support from friends, family, Scottish Athletics as well. And my coach Andy too, whenever I mention him. So.
You've acquitted yourself so well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, well done to Andy Young and Laura Muir. Good job done by them, and a new coaching relationship for Marilyn Okoro. Johnny Gray, has he given her the tactics to get her into this World Championship final?
Ignatius Geyser of the Netherlands. We're past the halfway stage now of this men's long jump. Everybody chasing the huge jump by Alexander Menkov, 8:52. And I think Geyser may have jumped himself into the medals now. All was smooth, deceptively powerful on takeoff, maintains his speed well. Well, even that jump by Menkhoff is not insurpassable. Everybody will give it their best shot, but 8:52 is a big, big lead. It's a new national record for the Netherlands, though. 8:29, he's in second. So what can Menkhoff do in the fourth round? Really set the stadium alight when he went out to that huge jump. New Russian national record, and is he gaining in confidence? Well, I don't think he's gaining in distance there, but he must be on top of the world at the minute and would just like a little bit extra. Unfortunately, we've lost Dwight Phillips, the four-time champion. He hasn't qualified for the final 3 rounds, and I suspect it may be the last we'll see of Dwight Phillips in major international finals. 35 years old, he's lost a bit of the fizz he once had, but he will go down in history as one of the best. 8:43 for Menkhoff.
Second semi-final looks like this. Almanza of Cuba, we've got Some of Kenya, Akoui of Morocco, Marilyn Okoro in lane 4, Kotelskaya of Russia, Savinova of Russia, Wilson of the United States, and Ozhamasova of Belarus. Well, Marilyn Okoro ran a very astute race in qualifying for this semi-final, but there's danger everywhere she looks here. Inside her, Malika Akoui, the Mediterranean Games champion, but has run 1:57.64 this year, and she'll be tough. So will Kotelskaya, European indoor silver medalist. The Russians always with good strength and depth in the 800, but of course they have the defending champion, Maria Savinova. Now, just before this evening, I was with Svetlana Mastakova, Brendan, the Olympic double champion, 800 and 1500, and won the 1500 back in 1999. Actually tried the double on that occasion at World Championships, didn't make it, and she reckons Savinova is not in the sort of shape she was last year. And she said, well, you know, would you be, after having the year she's had with Olympics last year, the World Championships, and I was saying, well, she hasn't looked that good, and she says, no, I agree. So it'll be interesting, won't it, to see whether Savinova rediscovers that dominant form that saw win the world title and the Olympic title. AJ Wilson, the young talent from the USA, and Ozhamasova on the outside lanes. So just to reiterate, only the top 2 will go through. Sorry, top 3 will go through, and 2 fastest losers. And the fastest loser spots at the minute, 1:59.48 and 1:59.56 from that first heat. So Marilyn could come in the top 5 here and run sub 2 minutes, which she's absolutely, of course, well capable of, and still qualify. Toes behind the line. Well, Akoui must have had the worst start I've ever seen from an 800-meter runner. We're not good at it anyway, but it wasn't good. And look at Marilyn. This is, of course, her newfound confidence to sit in the pack, just wait, let others force the paces. Eunice Sum goes to the front in lane 2, just comes across, and now they're all pushing and shoving. The youngster Wilson just giving Akoui a little nudge. Ozhamasova cuts right across everybody. Savinova just watching, and so is Marilyn Okoro. And then you just haven't got to panic. Gone through the first 200. That's pretty slow, really. It's okay, 28.2. But Eunice Sum is not wanting really to lead this. And, well, of course, we talked about fastest loser, Brens, but if it goes too slow through this next 200, they've got no chance of getting under 2 minutes.
You've got to go for a time here. There's an opportunity of 5 athletes qualifying here, and they all know that. They know 1:59. Well, Marilyn Okoro can run 1:59, and if she run 1:59 tonight and finish in 5th place, that would run her into the final. So they're coming on through 59, 60 seconds. It's making it harder, but they can do it from there. Marilyn Okoro just a little bit off the pace, but moving sensibly and moving wide. So right next to Savinova, the Olympic champion and world champion. And on the outside there, Kotelskaya is in a good place too. Now, can Marilyn settle down in the back straight? Can she get amongst these athletes as they start to make their run? And Marilyn's in 7th place there and needs to just take a little bit closer order. They'll be tiring in the home straight. There are places to pick up there, but this is the point of the race for Marilyn. She looks to me as though she's beginning to make a move.
Yeah, you saw Akoui decided Savinova was the one to follow, and Marilyn just didn't get on the back of Savinova when she had the opportunity. So now it's going to be really tight. Anybody's chance of getting into the top 3. Some still leading. Savinova, the defending champion, looks quite majestic, to be honest. Moves away. And the youngster from the USA finishing very quickly is going to get in the top 3. Wilson's just going to do it. It's going to be Savinova, Sum and Wilson. The rest are out, including Marilyn Okoro. It didn't suit Marilyn, that slow first lap. She can kick off that, but everybody's kicking off that. And if you're going to kick off that down the back straight, you've got to be in a good position. And she was too far away. Akaui had followed Savinova, who did absolutely everything right. And Savinova then was controlling the race into the home straight.
Well, she did leave it a bit late, but Savinova, albeit the Olympic and the world champion, who's not been in such great form, but looks pretty good tonight. But AJ Wilson of the United States come charging through on the outside. Sum of Kenya on the inside. And Marilyn Okoro, well, she didn't give herself a chance in terms of a fast time there. The opening lap of 60 seconds was why they weren't able to break the 2-minute barrier. But if you look at it, Savinova looking pretty good. AJ Wilson of the United States coming from a long way back, almost alongside Marilyn Okoro, but she's working there, she's running smoothly, she's just concentrating on her running, and that's a beautiful piece of action there, a beautiful run in the finishing straight. Savinova, we'll find out later, Sum, and then AJ Wilson, they're the qualifiers, and the fastest times come from the first round, and to be honest, they've only got themselves to blame for that.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing, I'm not listening to Svetlana Mastakova anymore. I'm not sure how much she's been watching. Savino looked great there, really did look good, and well done to AJ Wilson. That's a superb run from her.
Well, Marilyn Okoro's with me now. Marilyn, your verdict first of all on your performance tonight?
Oh, I'm disappointed. Sorry, everyone. Just, you know, that's the race. Didn't really get out of position. Wanted to kind of go when Savinova went, but I think a lot of people had that idea, and just the race just didn't come my way.
What was on your mind primarily on the start line? What was going through your mind as to what you needed to execute properly tonight?
It's always nerve-wracking because I was trying to do similar to yesterday, the follow, but you know, it wasn't fast, so and that's when it becomes more dangerous. But I guess I was just trying to get into the top 3.
Sorry it didn't work out for you. Thanks for talking to us, Marilyn.
I'll be back. No worries, thank you.
There's the start list for the men's shot put final, and we've got 3 Americans, a double Olympic champion and the defending champion, David Stahl of Germany. All of them are in very, very good form, but the one in form at the moment is Ryan Whiting, who throws first in the final. Well, here goes Ryan Whiting. He's been pacing around, can't wait to get started. Qualified for the final over 21 meters. Very fast at the end and hits it hard over 21 meters again. We certainly have got a lot of 21-meter throws in this final. But what a way to start your final. This is one of the longest standing championship records in World Championship history. 1987 it was set by the Swiss superstar Werner Guntor. But Ryan Whiting certainly has set it out in emphatic fashion. 21 meters 57. Well, Alexander Menkov being roared on by the whole stadium, and he's done it again. That is even further. That is even further than the last one. It was 8:52 for aficionados. We're approaching 28 feet or thereabouts. 8:56, even longer. And that's in the 5th round. And that is the stadium record is gone. And that was set back in 1980 when the East Germany's Lutz Dombrowski jumped 8:54.
Well, there's the result of Marilyn's semi-final. Some winning it in the end. Savinova just eased off across the line. And the 19-year-old from the USA coming from nowhere there in the home straight, AJ Wilson, coming through to take the 3rd spot. And the 2 fastest losers will come from that first semi-final. It was just that little bit quicker, wasn't it? So Poistagova and Masna going through. So America very well represented in that, but Savinova might just be good enough to hang on to a title.
This is a World Championships to remember. We've already seen some of the greatest athletes of our time defending their titles, cementing their names in history. Usain Bolt is the only man to win 6 Olympic gold medals in sprinting. And last Sunday, he lit up the stadium in style.
Bolt's going to take the gold medal again! Unbeatable, unsurpassable.
If he can add 2 more golds to his collection here in Moscow, he'll equal the record I share with Carl Lewis of 8 World Championship titles. It's not just Bolt who has triumphed. Turnish Dibaba claimed her 5th world title, Robert Harding and Yelena Isinbayeva their 3rd, and Valerie Adams her 4th, making her the most successful shot putter in history.
The champion once more. Absolutely phenomenal.
But in my experience, retaining or regaining your title isn't always straightforward, and Moscow hasn't brought highs for all of today's stars.
And Karani James, there's a long way back. What a performance. He destroyed James.
Merritt trying to get there, an emphatic, overpowering victory. It was not Merritt, it was David Oliver who becomes champion of the world.
There could be plenty of epic moments yet to come in these championships, and some of the greatest athletes will have the chance to go one step further. But tonight it's all about Mo Farah, whose double in London makes him Britain's greatest distance runner.
Farah is going to make it 2 gold medals. Beautiful!
If he can pull off the double-double here in Moscow, he will become only the 2nd man in history to hold world and Olympic crowns in the 5,000 and 10,000 meters at the same time.
This is world domination for Farah.
If he can do that, it will be an unforgettable moment. The stage is set, and we hope to witness history being made.
We are about 8 minutes away from seeing whether Mo can indeed become part of that exalted company. Paula Radcliffe holding your stomach there because of nerves, and she's just getting worse and worse as the evening's going on. That brilliant piece you did earlier on, explaining kind of how Mo can win this and how potentially he could be beaten. Is there anything else you'd add to what he's got to do now and how he's got to approach this race, mentally and physically?
I mean, he just has to approach this race as he's approached races all season. I think he just has to think about it as a race that he just has to win and put himself in the place. Yeah, not what's gone before and what it might make him. He won't be thinking about any of that. He's just be thinking about making sure that he gets himself in the right position, stays alert, covers any moves, because he is the one that they're going out to try and beat. And he has to be ready to cover those. He can't sit right at the back like he did in the 10,000 metres, because I think if somebody goes hard from that, it's far easier in the 5K for someone to go hard and attack. Then he needs to be able to react straight away.
But he will let them
them
control the race. He never goes to the front, does he? And we shouldn't expect to see him there.
He might go to the front to try and slow it down, but he won't go to the front to do anything. No, he will let them do it. And I think, there's Rihanna and Tanya, so they'll be nervous watching him as well. But he's coming in great shape, and he's got everything there, but Soy is the danger, I think. Soy and Alamiru and Gebrselassie, they think that they're faster than him. If they sit on him and they can be right there with 50 metres to go, then they're going to be a big danger. But what we want him to do is just to be able to unleash that kick and just to run
be
free
in a position
and be fully recovered from what he's done. And that's the thing I would underline, is don't underestimate the scale of what he's trying to achieve here, because it is tough to bounce back from as much as he's run so far with 10,000 metres and then the heats of the 5,000 and be fully recovered and ready to go tonight.
Well, there's his wife Tanya, the pictures, the memories of what could be an incredible double-double. Well, Brendan Foster and Mo caught up earlier in the week to talk specifically about this race.
Mo Farah, his 3rd global gold medal. He's done it.
I think the 5K is going to be a lot more harder than the 10K. You've got to have that confidence. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to go in every race knowing that, yes, this guy's, I'm going to win. I'm betting this guy's in your head, and at the same time respects the guys what you need to do, but not thinking I'm betting this guy's, I'm going to give him 1 yard head start or something like that. You got to cover every move and be at the front, but at the same time use your tactics that you have.
But you know, Mo, you're the greatest distance runner we've ever had, and it's fantastic to witness this. But we've never had, there's only been one man, Kenenisa Bekele, who's ever won the double 5 and 10 at the Olympics, 5 and 10 at the World Championships. How would you feel stepping into his shoes?
It'd be great. Bekele is a great athlete, and what he's achieved, and I remember as a junior him seeing him win the world cross country, loads of different races, and it's still world record of 5 and 10. So he's a great athlete, and it would be nice to achieve something like that. But you know, I just got to go out there, respect everybody, and get in the race, and you know, just be there.
Just tell us what the British public, when you're running the race and you're in the pack,
Yeah.
what should they be thinking?
Have a cup of tea, chill out, Mo's in the race.
Well, there's one thing we know with Mo Farah. He will give absolutely everything he has. He wears his shirt with pride. He races brilliantly and with, oh, there they are, doing exactly what Mo said. Steve and Brendan enjoying a nice cup of tea. I wish we were as relaxed up here. How are we, the lads?
Do you know what, Gabby? You can never do a Geordie accent. Not a bad go, though. We're not relaxed in the sense that we know the enormity of what Mo's trying to do, not just the footsteps he's trying to follow in, but the enormity of the task just tonight. If this was a one-off 5,000 metre race, it would be a tough one for him to win. And I was watching, I think I said earlier on, was watching an interview with Edwin Soy after his heats, and somebody asked him the question, you know, when you beat Mo Farah in Eugene, what did you learn? What was the one thing you learned? And he says, you know what I learned? Nobody is unbeatable. And I think that was a great line, because you know, there's all this talk around this as though they're handing it to him. They are not. They are going to try to find a way to beat him. The question, I guess, Brendan, is how?
Well, I don't think any one of them is determined enough to try and do it on their own.
Thank you.
But I would say that this race is going to be harder to win than the 10,000 metres, but I really have the confidence that Mo can win this one. He loves winning. It's becoming addictive to him. He's in great shape. He's in great humour. He's faster than anybody else in the field, and I'm really excited, and I'm not quite chilled out as I'm supposed to be.
Well, I think you know you've heard Mo talk, haven't you, about the fact that his family's so important to him, and he's missed the twins. They're not here. It's difficult to bring them all the way to Moscow, of course, but you know. Having some familiarity is important, and he likes to have his family around. He likes to have his group, you know, Galen and Cam and the guys who are in the group with Alberto. It's important, and he's prepared as well as he can, and having that familiarity around him in places like Moscow is important to him. Hopefully it'll work. Well, there's the full list. Edris of Ethiopia, Lagat, a former double champion himself. He won the 1500 and 5,000 titles in 2007. Isaiah Koech, big talent from Kenya. Of course, Galen Rupp, Mo Farah's training partner. And then the names from Ethiopia, Gebriwet and Alimeru Longasiwa, the Olympic bronze medalist. And of course, Edwin Soy, former Olympic medalist himself. Soy, the fastest in the world this year, over 5,000 meters. The last big race was in Monaco. He won it. He ran fast, and he's beaten Farah before this year. In the shape of his life, says Soy, but I think Mo Farah may well, if he was writing a little essay about how things are at the moment, he might just say something similar. The double Olympic champion attempting to become the double world champion. Alimeru thought that he could outkick him in Birmingham. It was a rehearsal, and it didn't work. And Farah kicked him there, and if they didn't learn that leaving it to the end is playing into his hands, then, well, fool them. Longasiwa is quick, and he was in the finish. He was in the mix in London. He was a little far back, didn't quite get himself in the right position. Gebriwet, huge talent, this young man. The world junior record holder at 5,000 meters, has already run 12:47. That's much quicker than Farah has run for this distance. Koech, another big talent, just 19 years of age. He ran 12:48 last year. But it's not times that win you gold medals. It's craft, it's being in the right place at the right time. Lagat knows how to do that. Young Edris on the inside, will he be a factor? Men's 5,000 metre final. So here we go again. 12.5 laps. Mo Farah with increasing expectation on his shoulders. Every championship that he wins, every gold medal he collects, it just heaps more pressure on the next one. Doesn't make it any easier. You start every race like everybody else at the start line. And Bren, my old coach, used to say, nobody gives you a head start because of your reputation.
That's exactly right. But Bernard Lagat, the wise old man, the 38-year-old, 36 seconds for the first 200 metres. He darted to the front, and he's only there for one reason, and that's to slow it down. And he's effectively done that in the first 200 metres, but that's not going to last very long. Galen Rupp in third place there, and Mo just on Galen's shoulder. And this is, for the moment, feeling like a training run. And the pace of it is probably slower than they do on a training run. But Isaiah Koech, the 19-year-old Kenyan, Longasiwa, the more experienced athlete, Olympic medalist, both of them now drift to the front, one lap behind them, 71 seconds, and that's a little thank you from Mo. Thank you very much. That was slow. And you know, when you're in a race, you've got the confidence that speed gives you, Steve. You know, to run the time you ran, faster than you ran for 1,500 metres, and you're a 5 and 10,000 metre runner. The confidence that comes from that is absolutely enormous. We were staggered at how fast he ran, and a 50-point time, as his wife takes, she mustn't be confident in the BBC's coverage. She's trying to do it herself, I think, but record it back home and you'll be able to watch it. But now the race is beginning to start.
Yeah, just be keeping an eye on this. That's Koech at the front, and he wouldn't have minded when he first drifted to the front. Then he was joined by Longasiwa. Soy stayed back, and Mo at the moment is holding back. And this is interesting. We weren't expecting them to go hard from the start. It was a slow first lap. Koech is a brilliant athlete, brilliant young athlete, as I said. So leading them out. Longasiwa's latched on the back of him, and then slowly but surely the others are starting to close up and to give chase. Galen Rupp there just behind Lagat. And then Mo Farah much further back. And look at Gebrhiwet, he's thinking, well, come on, you should be catching up, but I've been told to stay behind you. I've been told to stay behind Mo Farah. I've been told to hang on to Mo Farah. And Farah just being patient, and why not? I mean, although Koech went off there at the front, you know, that's a long run from home, and I don't think that there was any sense. What we might be seeing here, Brendan, is more of a surgy sort of race, which is another way of tiring people out.
It is a way of tiring people out. Mo Farah with the confidence just to sit in the third group. A 61-second lap there, the second one. But unless you keep them going, unless you pile them on top of one another, a 61-second lap's doing more damage to you if you're just going to slow down after it, because then the other guys have gauged their pace. They haven't bothered with the 61-second lap, and they've just drifted off the back of it. Alamaru, he's another danger. I think Longasiwa is going to be a danger. The young Ethiopian Edris is in there too, and it's good to see an Australian athlete in that field. 65 there, so the 61's ineffective. They've started jogging, and once again Mo's done nothing at all, and the gaps have closed for him. So 1,000 meters behind us, 4,000 meters now, and the race hasn't even started. And to be honest with you, that's when confidence is important. Some athletes get nervous when they're not running as fast as they want to be, as they expect to be, and they talk about team races and they talk about tactics, and at the end of the day, there's a little bit of thing in athletics for me. There's safety in numbers. You've got to be brave to go out on your own. None of them have decided they're going to try it. None of them are confident enough to try and run away from Mo Farah. 9 laps to go.
Yes, that confidence that Mo showed in his own ability as Soy comes around the outside this time, and this certainly seems like it might be a bit of a tactic here, this idea to go slow, go fast, go slow, go fast. But as Brendan said, you really have got to sustain it for more than one lap, because a little nudge on the shoulder there, and as Edris comes through, as if to say, right, this one's for real, guys. I did mention, Brendan, at the start of the programme, you know, Edris has the same manager as Soy and Longasiwa. Everyone assumes it's always Kenya versus Ethiopia. Well, when you're on the circuit, it's not like that at all. And Edris just drifted to the front there, but nothing really happening. This is all just feeling each other out. It's like boxers dancing around each other in the early rounds, just slinging the odd punch, but not really going for it.
The only tactic that's emerged to me in this event is that Gebriwet has decided that he's going to follow Mo Farah every step of the way. So Gebriwet in the green vest of Ethiopia. Mo's moved up to third from the back, fifth from the back. He's moved up to fourth from the back. Mo's beginning to get moving on the outside, and Gebriwet's beginning to get moving on the outside. And Edris, his teammate, the young Ethiopian, not doing anything special at all. And the more the laps tick down, the more the pace stays slow. And Mo Farah now at the front, but he's not there for a reason other than to control the race and to keep it slow. 68 seconds, 2,000 meters gone. It's a 3,000 meter race.
And he likes to do this, doesn't it? This is familiar. He goes to the front in the early stages just to almost remind everybody he's there. They've had a few little exchanges on the first few laps. He just comes and says, here I am, guys. The race hasn't started yet. I'm just going to slow it down a little bit if you let me. They're letting him do exactly that. Gallant on the outside, Koech. And this is when you get to the stature of somebody like Mo Farah, when you have other people worried about you, scared about what you can do, when you are the big name, when you're the Usain Bolt of your event, people allow you to do things they shouldn't allow you to do, and that's what they're doing here. They're letting him go to the front, slow it down.
But to stop him doing that, you need an awful lot of confidence in your own ability, and you need to measure your confidence against his confidence. But you know, it is tea time in England. He did tell us to sit back and relax, chill out, have a cup of tea. That was his message to people watching this event. Well, they're probably having a cup of tea, and the news is this race is going Mo Farah's way. The slower in the earlier stages, the better for Mo, even though in my mind, if they made it really quick, it wouldn't trouble him too much. But 2,400 meters completed, a 69-second lap, so Mo's intention is pretty clear, and it was just to keep it slow, keep it steady, and let them worry about him.
Don't be surprised if Koech is the first to break. He's been near the front. You can see there's probably a game plan hatching in his mind, which is about, 5 laps out, 4 laps out. He's looking at the scoreboard. It says 6 laps to go. Mo Farah on his inside. Soy just tucked on the inside as well. Edris is there. Longasiwa a little bit behind him. Lagat lurking now. And the two better Ethiopians just very close as well. Alamaru and Gebriwet. But there's a big... Well, of course there's a big pack because it's been so slow. Nobody tailed off at this point. And not long now, Brendan, there'll only be 2,000 meters to go.
This is brilliant for Mo Farah. Less than 6 laps to go for Mo Farah. And they've been running at 14 minutes and 10 pace. And I promise you, that is a lot slower than they run in training. And there he says, there you are. You can take it on if you want to. That's Koech of Kenya. The Australian running well alongside him, but you've got to be running well at this point.
So Koech just stretching it a little bit. Gallant of South Africa on Farah's shoulder. Lagat realising that this might be it. 5 laps to go. Is this a bit of an attempt to wind things up from Koech? His head goes down a little bit, and if you are going to go, you've got to go hard. It can't be half-hearted. You cannot play at this. You've got to put your foot down. Trust in your fitness, trust in your ability, trust in your strength. So Koech starts to put his foot down. Everybody behind is realising. Edris moves out very quickly to follow in behind him. Mo Farah right there, of course. Soy moving up. Longasiwa on the inside. So the Kenyans to the fore. Lagat now moving up for the USA. The other Ethiopian's been a little slower to respond. Let's see what this lap is. Well, that was a 62, but it really started it's been only about 300 meters of foot down.
I think that's right. And I think this is now an effort, because when it comes to 5 laps to go, if you're thinking about making a committed effort yourself, you can't go all the way, but you can go from 5 laps out. This is a distance where these men train 2,000 meter repetitions on the track. They know exactly what kind of pace to run at. He's trying to make a move. Here comes Galen Rupp on the outside, and as soon as Mo saw Galen, he decided that was time. 4 laps to go. This is where you can make brave energy and make brave efforts. Save your energy. Just settle down. Don't do too much yet. And it's about confidence. It's about not getting tripped, and there's a little bit of an incident there. We don't want any of that. We want a true run last couple of laps. It's going to be a fast last mile here, and Mo is absolutely in the right place.
And the next bit they'll want to try and do, if they can, is to rough him up a little bit, to try and get ahead of him, and that's what Alain Marou did, but the others are sitting where they normally do. So he's very, very close to Mo Farah, and Mo's realising he's just got to be aware here and just keep himself on the outside. Galen Rupp, his partner's on the inside. It's not perhaps the best place to be at this point. Koech is already looking a bit tired. Alain Marou relaxed. Gebri Hiwet tucked in the pack, about 4 places behind Mo Farah, but Mo's got himself out here, and they know what he's going to try and do. When they get into the last 1,000 metres, Mo Farah will want to try and get to the front. You've all seen it yourselves. We've seen it. We know it. They know it too.
And Gebri Hiwet knows it extremely well. He's following him beautifully. Mo Farah is in the right place. Less than 3 laps to go. Nothing's happened in this race at all, and now it begins to mount. The pace begins to pick up. 62 seconds for that last lap, and I'm getting more confident. There's some good talent around Mo Farah. There's some good sprinters amongst this lot, but confidence and the speed we've seen from Mo Farah. Bernard Lagat, the only man in this field who's ever run faster at 1,500 metres than Mo Farah, but he hasn't done it for a long, long time. Mo's done it so recently. There he is now, and it looks down the finishing straight.
Less than 1,000 metres to go. Alain Marou leading, but he's only there because he wants to try and stop Mo Farah getting to the front. You can see what his tactic is. He's slowing it then. Look at this. As soon as Farah tries, he's going to try and hold him off. He tried to do this in Birmingham. Then we've got Soy in there behind, and look at Gebri Hiwet. He's going to try and help his mate. Mo tries again, and Alain Marou holds him off again. Now Gebri Hiwet's right on his shoulder. Longasiwa's in there. Soy's just been blocked off a little bit behind Edris, the other Ethiopian. He's 5 metres behind Mo Farah, and the race is really on now.
This is an 800-metre race. And the thing about 800-metre races, you've got to choose your position, you've got to follow your tactics, and there goes Mo Farah. That's his first effort, and it's going to have to be enough. Now he's in the pole position. Now with 600 metres to go, this is where he likes to be, and his tactics from here are simply to hold off any attacks. Keep it steady, keep a few bursts of speed available to you. Allow yourself to have the opportunity to sprint when you're challenged, and he's only got one tactic now. He's got to hold them up at every opportunity.
Farah leading. Alain Marou is there. Longasiwa is there. Koech coming around the outside, goes past Soy. He won't be happy about that. Lagat is still there, the American, and Gebri Hiwet in there. Koech now on the shoulder of Farah.
Well, the double Olympic champion is on his way to glory if he can just hold himself in the right place. Hold them off, Mo Farah. You've got to keep battling. You've got to respond at every time but you don't use it all in the back straight. Save some of it for the bend. Save some of it for the finishing straight itself. Mo's controlling this. He's not absolutely flat out yet. He's running and relaxing, coasting. He looks magnificent. He's got this chance.
Mo Farah with Koech on his shoulder. Longasiwa is there. Lagat within striking distance. Have any of them got the ammunition? Have any of them got the speed? Does anyone have the acceleration? Mo Farah working hard. He hasn't got this one yet. He's got to battle for this. He's sprinting for gold. He's running for greatness. Mo Farah is going to get there again. Farah wins it. Another incredible performance from Mo Farah. His 5th global title. That's a fistful of gold. That was hard. That was really, really hard. It's not getting any easier, but it's just as sweet. It's just as brilliant. And I, for one, will never get used to this. We are in special times, Brendan, with a special athlete.
We are in special times, Steve, with an outstanding athlete. After that victory tonight, you know, twice Olympic champion, 3 times world champion, you would have to say that Mo Farah for my money, becomes the greatest athlete we've ever had in this country. And I think Paula Radcliffe is waiting upstairs. Paula, you must be so excited there watching Mo Farah. You've known him since he was a kid. You've helped him along the line. He put himself in the front and he just would not let them past.
No, exactly. I mean, I'm so proud of him. I think he was probably the only person of all of us who throughout that race just totally believed and had confidence in what he was going to do, because there was a few times there when I was really worried. Once we got into the last 80 metres, then I was more relaxed. But here, he really, really had to work to get to where he wanted to be. He wasn't, so he was controlling, but he wasn't exactly... Yeah, so no, it goes, and it just, Alamura does not let him pass, and he has to work and work and work, and he manages to get there. And once he's in here, this is where he wanted to be, and this is where he wants to control. I'm not sure he wanted to be there just yet, but he had to work there to get there, and now it was all about just holding his position. But what I was worried about was Legat sitting right there in danger zone, and a very dangerous. Soy moving up here. Galen at this point is not able to help him any. He's just hanging on, trying to stay with them. And as they come into the last lap, this is what we talked about before. This is where Mo wanted to be and the position he needed to hold. But I was just very, very nervous about the people moving up around him. And Koech really, really tested him, and he had to work and work and work. And we'll see when we come into this, but this was a 55 lap. And he's just doing exactly what he planned to do and exactly what they knew he was going to do, but they weren't able to do anything about it. In the beginning, when they went to take out the lead, I thought they were going to keep doing that and keep doing more of a fartlek and testing, so that then he wouldn't know when they were going to go, but they didn't, and in the end they let him control it. They let him into his favourite position, and then from here it was all over, and he knows that. I think he's looking up here and he knows that he's got it at this point. I was still a little bit nervous. Soy was moving up, Legat was still there, Koech has still got a little bit left, but from here now they know that they're beaten and they can't close him, and he's still looking around. He still knows that the dangers could come, but I think he knows that he had that sewn up from 100 metres to go and before that. And like I say, it was us that was nervous, and he had it all under control.
Well, the title of greatness is not one that should be easily bestowed on anybody, but surely he deserves it. And you know, the Ethiopians and the Kenyans will talk about what didn't happen. They'll be wandering through the mixed zone and they'll be discussing the tactics, but you know what, Brent? Serves them right. You cannot just keep coming back and doing the same thing time and time again and expecting a different result, because he's got better and they haven't, and they have never really tested him fully. This was hard, but they've never really come up with a way of taking control away from Farah so that he can't control that 600 metres in the way that he does.
But look how determined he was. He wasn't just faster than them. He wasn't just more confident than them. He was more able to resist the challenges because he's more determined than them. He'll give everything. He's always been an athlete who was prepared to work for his prizes. Well, tonight, as he did in the 10,000 metres, as he did in the Olympic Games, he's always had challenges. He's always been able to hold them off. And by the way, if you've done 50 point something for the last lap, and if you're one of the competitors, know he's done that, and look at the reaction, and look at this is absolutely brilliant. We are enjoying great times in distance running, Steve, and for us it is a special pleasure. We've waited a long time. Now we've got a double Olympic champion, a 3 times world champion, and a man who's inspiring the next generation of distance runners, and hopefully that will carry on through. But I'll tell you one thing you'll learn from this man: distance running is hard, winning races is extremely hard, and that man, Alberto Salazar, has given him the opportunity to become the best in the world. And he's still a great lad. He's still going to be asking when he finishes, you know, who's playing football tomorrow, because he hasn't been in touch with it recently. But oh, that's a new one. He's developed a new style. What about the Mo? What do you call that? Give that a name, Steve. Go on.
No, you see, there's more familiar. That's the Mobot. We'll come up with a name for the other one a bit later. But well, you know, we saw Alberto then. We should also, you know, mention, and I'm sure Alberto Mo would be the first to mention, the support he gets from UK Athletics to do his own thing, to prepare in the way he wants to. Hasn't always been the case. Barry Fudge, the physiologist who does such a good job about preparing his altitude program, with Alberto. It is a real team. They've been in St. Moritz. Rihanna and Tanya's wife have been up there to visit. You know, and it's all thought through. Every single bit of it is thought through, and the time he spends between the events is carefully planned as well. Nothing is left to chance.
Great celebrations. And let's not forget, you know, before he became the champion, he was taught about athletics by Alan Story. And remember, he was discovered by his PE teacher, Alan Watkinson, Steve. And you know what? Every distance runner and every athlete in the British team owes a lot of it to the unsung heroes of British athletics. They're the PE teachers in the schools across the country, and he found a special one. We all had PE teachers that got us into running, but he had a man who knew that this man, he wasn't a great footballer, but he's a hell of a runner.
Oh, don't tell him that. Well, he's a big hero, not only in Britain, around the world now. I was chatting to some people outside tonight, Russians, you know, they were asking about Mo Farah. One guy came up with Brendan and he's in broken English. He said, is he as good as Lassie Viren? And I said, well, you know, those are the discussions you like, go back and chat about. There were no world championships for Lassie Viren to win. He won the double at 2 different Olympic games. But Mo hasn't finished yet. You know, he's got other things to come in the future.
But that race today reminded me of Lassie Viren. He put himself in the front. He had challenges coming at him one after the other. He was running the shortest route on the inside, and every challenge that came, he held it off, he held it off. And if you look at a video of Lassie Viren winning the Olympic Games 5,000 meters in Montreal, then you'll see Lassie Viren running exactly as Mo Farah ran. And you know what? It's not bad tactics, that.
Well, I used to have that video played to me by my coach because he said that's the way to do it. That's how I was taught actually to run the 1,500 meters. You were there, you saw all of those guys. You're right, they were like Spitfires coming out of the sky and being shot down one by one, except Spitfires never got shot down, but you know what I mean. They were trying to attack him, and you're right, that's exactly how it was. To Mo Farah, another gold medal, another title, and another level of excitement, which I'm sure we've all enjoyed, and we are continuing the journey with this great man.
I just want to say, double Olympic champion, 3 times world champion, a British distance runner wearing the Union Jack. We've waited for a long, long time, Mo. This has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much.
I'm sure we'll be hearing from Mo Farah a little later. What a moment. Well, the story so far in the men's shot put, Ryan Whiting of the United States, 21.57 in the first round. This was Reese Hoffer, the former champion, in round 2. He got in amongst the medals with a throw of 21 meters 12. The big American spun around and hit the shot hard. Always deceptive, he always throws it fairly flat, doesn't get height on it. Not a lot of height anyway, but it certainly went out there to over 21 meters, 21.12. He was in 3rd place. Then it was the turn of the defending champion. He set lifetime best in qualifying and in the final 2 years ago. Not quite in that sort of shape now, but he always is a man for the big occasion. And he went out to over 21 meters 2. Desperately wanted to defend his title. And there was the result, another season's best, 21.24. So it was Whiting, Stahl and Hoffer. I beg your pardon, it was 21.24 in the second round. That looked long. And this was actually given as a foul. He was disputing it. And there was a photograph. Goodness only knows how he came up with that, but nevertheless, the judges eventually relented. The lead was 21.57, and eventually David Stahl was given yet another season's best, but more importantly for him, he got the lead at 21 meters 73. So Dylan Armstrong now in round 5. His coach, Dr. Anatoly Bondarchuk, former Olympic hammer champion, is in the stands watching. And he too is over 21 meters. Armstrong saying to Dr. Bondarchuk there, he's now walking with a stick. He's got bad hips, but what a coach he's proved to be. Armstrong, former silver medalist in the World Championships, last time behind David Stahl of Germany. He's just been getting better and better throughout this final. Started off at 20 meters 38, but that is 24.34. A massive throw. He's in 3rd place.
Mo Farah's very long and well-deserved lap of honour is just about coming to an end. He'll be approaching Phil Jones any moment now, I'm sure. Denise, never in doubt, hey? That cup of tea went down easily, didn't it, in that 13 minutes or so?
It's a good job I wasn't drinking it. It would have gone all over me. I mean, it was like a roller coaster for me. I said to you, it was like building the tension. It was so thrilling. He is phenomenal. I mean, to come back and do the double after last year is just sensational. I'm staggered. I really am. But nothing is left unturned with Mo. You know, the attention to detail to do what he's done tonight takes an incredible thing.
Let's not forget what he said after the 10K. He said, I've trained harder this year than I did in my Olympic year. And that it takes some mental, doesn't it, and physical positioning, really, because you know, it'd be so easy just to go, well, I'm Olympic champion, I'm going to keep doing what I did last year. It worked last year. Why not keep doing the same thing?
Because he knows the danger out there. You know, he can't afford to do that because these guys will just brush him aside. And, you know, we've talked about, you know, what it takes to get greatness, to repeat performances, and you have to up your game. You've got to think outside the box. You've got to do different things. But Mo wouldn't be the athlete he is today without a phenomenal team. The team behind him give him the confidence, the tools that he requires to do this.
And as Steve said in commentary as well, you know, you go right back to school, to Alan Story. He made the decision a few years ago to train with Alberto Salazar, to position his family in America, to move them all out there. It's all part, Michael, of that team and that positioning.
Absolutely, and he gets a tremendous amount of support from Nike as well with Alberto Salazar, with the Oregon Project. They have all sorts of resources that they can tap into and are able to take advantage of all of those things.
We shall chat more, no doubt, about these incredible achievements. Phil has got Mo.
Yeah, the man of the moment right here with me. And first of all, I want to pick up on something Brendan Foster said in commentary. He's just called you the greatest British athlete of all time. Brendan wouldn't say that lightly. What's your reaction?
That's amazing to Brendan and the team, the guy Karami, says great things about me. And it's something I worked so hard for. And all I was thinking about is my kids and, you know, how much time I've been away from them and all the hard work I put into. So I wasn't going to let that go.
It's great to see you share the moment with your wife. I'm one of your daughters, but you've not seen the twins much, and I can see it's an emotional moment for you.
It is. It's very difficult because, you know, they're growing so fast, and I haven't been around for the last 4 or 5 months, in and out in their lives, so they don't really recognise me. But I'm looking forward, you know, spending time with them and hopefully, you know, just enjoy that time because they grow so fast.
But you've said it yourself, Mo. You had to work harder this year after the double last year to retain this title, add a 10,000 metre world title as well.
It was hard. It was a lot more harder work than, you know, the last year, and I put in so much hard work into it. And, you know, it's just spending high altitude training. And Barry Frage, who's a sports science, he's been looking after me really well and make sure everything was all right. Neil Black again, physio, my coach Alberto Salazar, and the whole team around me. And, you know, Alberto's done a great job for me, and I never thought in my career I would achieve something like this. And I know I work hard for it, but sometimes you need the right people, and I'm glad I've got the right people.
5 global titles. Just how tough was this one?
It was very tough. I thought the guys would have worked more as a teamwork, and we were talking about early on and thinking maybe someone would take it out and work for it, but you know, it was just left to last few laps.
Let me get a final word on what it's like when you're doing a lap of honour. You know, you've got the flag draped around your neck. Then you get to see all these different people you know are hugging you, kissing your family, friends, coaches. What's going through your mind? What's that like?
There's a lot of stuff, and I had a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I enjoy it. And but I'm very proud to represent my country and hold the Union Jack. And I've had so many people sort of tweeting me and good luck and through Facebook and all the social media work, and I just want to say all the people who give me great support in my career and from early on when I was a kid and gave me that support, particularly Alan Wilkinson, and you know, there's a lot of people out there who can't thank enough, but there's a lot of people who, you know, put a bit into it.
But you can say a final thank you right down the lens if you want to the people at home who've cheered you on.
Yeah, no, thank you for all the people back at home through social media, through Twitter, Facebook, and I'm very proud to hold the Union Jack.
We're very proud of you, Mo. Congratulations, brilliant.
Great Britain's very own gold medal machine, and well said as well. You know, when great champions should be gracious in their victories, and to thank all of the people who've helped him along the way. He's not forgetting anyone. And there, yet again, confirmation of his gold medal, 13:26.98. No one will remember the winning time. Gebrhiwet took the silver medal, just pipping Koech on the line. There were others challenging, but their challenge never really amounted to anything. And so it was left yet again for Mo Farah to take the global title, his 5th in the last 2 years, since this time 2 years ago in Daegu.
From Farah to Alison Felix. Well, Charonda Williams goes in lane 2 in this one. But the penultimate final of the evening, and there is the great Alison Felix. Well, this title in recent years has been a duel between the USA and Jamaica, the 200 metres. Alison Felix and Veronica Campbell-Brown. The latter has fallen from grace, but up steps another Jamaican. Up steps from 100 metres, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. The double Olympic and now double world champion over the shorter sprint. She's trying to complete the sprint double at a world or Olympics for the first time, but it's certainly not just between Felix and Fraser-Pryce. Look out for Muriel Ahure of the Ivory Coast. Silver in the 100 in Nigeria's Blessing Okagbare, 100 metres finalist, silver in the long jump. But everyone talks about Usain Bolt, of course they do, but she's a lot short of 5 feet tall, but a giant in sprinting. And can she double up here? She's been concentrating a bit more on the 200 metres this year. This is what she wants to do now, to measure herself against the very best. Can you double up?
You certainly can double up. It's been proven on many occasions. We've seen what Johan Blake has done in the past. Incredible 100 metres, of course, 9.69. And he's also the second fastest 200 metre runner in history. So Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, well, she has an opportunity here at these World Championships to do something that is unique for her.
The strongest four in the middle there, Alison Felix in 3, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, of course, in 4, Blessing Okagbare and Muriel Ahure. Shawnee Miller, very talented young Bahamian. And the Americans loading the first 3 lanes there. Well, they've just delayed the start of the 200 metres for a moment. We are almost ready for this final. Alison Felix being introduced to the crowd, looking for her 4th 200-metre title at a World Championships, looking for her 9th World Championship gold overall. She has gathered a few in the relays as well, but Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, a smile never far away from the lips. I think looking at her, she's a 100 metres runner. Surely she can't hang on against the taller, longer striding athletes such as Blessing Okagbare. But she does, and she's come through the heats in the semi-final very well. Okagbare slightly disappointing in the 100 metres. I knew she expected a little bit more. Silver medalist though in the long jump. And there is Muriel Ahure, silver in the 100. Knows what it takes to beat Felix. Became the first person in 2 years to do so over 200 when she won in Rome in June. as Shawnee Miller, along with Antonique Strawn, the future of Bahamian women's sprinting is good. Strawn just missing out on a place in this final. But the 19-year-old Shawnee Miller came through well. And Maria Remyen, the Ukrainian fans, are about to make themselves heard again. So you have the Americans in lanes 1, 2 and 3. Of Geneva Tarmo, Charonda Williams and Alison Felix. Muriel Lahuri going in lane 6. Okakbari there, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is the target for Alison Felix, just inside her. This is the event she owns. She could run well at 100, she could run well and has run well over 400, but this is her domain. Geneva Tarmo, Charonda Williams, Alison Felix, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Blessing Okakbari, Muriel Lahuri, Shawnee Miller and Maria Remyen. This is the final of the women's 200 metres. Away they go, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce always explodes out, and against the slower starting Blessing Okakbari, she is well up at the moment, the purple hair flying, Muriel Lahuri going well, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Alison Felix is down, stricken on the track, so it's left to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Can Lahuri get there? Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce for the line, for the title, for double gold. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce holds on. The victory is hers, 22.19. She is double gold medalist in the sprints here at the World Championships, but it came not the threat from Alison Felix. She was undone by injury and she finishes on the bend, on the ground, but Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce still a worthy champion.
Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce ran a storming bend along with Lahuri, but it's Alison Felix we were always watching to see what she was going to do, and she pulled up at around that 40-metre mark. Let's have a look. Alison in lane 3. She got a good start, but it wasn't as good as Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. But, you know, Alison Felix would expect it back. But there he goes. Looks like a hamstring. And she's out of the race. Just leaving it for the two shorter runners to battle it out. And Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, well, she comes off the bend turn first and keeps working hard. Okakbari, well, she tried to claw her back in, but didn't quite make it. So ends up with another bronze medal.
Oh, we wanted to see that showdown between Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Alison Felix. Lahuri nearly getting there. I wonder what Michael Johnson thought of that watching upstairs. Lahuri just holding on for the silver medal. It's double silver for Muriel Lahuri.
Let's check. You see Alison there? She's going around it. She's grimacing already. She's trying to get off that right leg. And that's her World Championships done. She's absolutely devastated because she arrived at these championships looking like she could do some real damage, and the only damage that was being caught, unfortunately, was her hamstring.
Well, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce wouldn't have known because Alison Felix was inside her. She would have thought that she's just not coming past me. She didn't know that Alison Felix was down and injured. You can see from the effort, the exertion, and then the relief and the celebration. But wonderful, always wonderful to watch her head on, Michael.
Absolutely, and the job was already done at this point, and this race strategy was designed specifically to beat Alison Felix. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce got out of the blocks extremely fast, really quick around the bend. The objective was to put pressure on Alison Felix, who would have been on the inside, but she's no longer at that point. She's no longer there. Lace is undone on the right shoe. Still able to turn into 22.19, but as always imagined, as I figured, she was starting to run out of gas at the end. The speed endurance not quite there. It's a lot of steps for someone that's only 5 feet tall, but she put enough distance between herself and Blessing Okakbari and Muriel Lahuri, who became the challengers after Alison Felix went out, so that she could actually hold them off with the longer strides. So already just putting a gap between the field as the stagger unfolds here. She comes off of the turn with a good 3-meter lead and opens that up a little bit. But now, as you see, with about 20-30 meters to go, Muriel Ahure on your outside, closest to your screen, and Blessing Okabari coming back at this point, but now they're going to run out of track, just not enough. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce running out of gas, but enough of a gap between them to bring her home to a victory and her first gold medal in the 200 meters at a World Championship. Congratulations to her. She's the sprint queen. Unbelievable performance from her today. We wanted to see that matchup between her and Allyson Felix, and unfortunately not able to see it today, but we will see it soon, I'm sure.
Yes, we just have to teach her how to tie a proper knot in a shoelace. Round the tree and down the rabbit hole, and all will be good. Ed Moses style that was, running with a shoelace undone. But yes, Usain Bolt, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Jamaica has the undisputed king and queen of sprinting. Sad scenes though for Allyson Felix. Of course, looking for that 4th title over 200 meters. And being consoled by her brother there. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce 22.17, gold medalist. Muriel Ahure her 2nd silver after the 100. Blessing Okabari 22.32, bronze medal to add to her silver in the long jump.
We'll just catch up with a couple of field events that finished a while ago. First of all, the men's long jump. It was dramatic and it was a home victory. Alexander Menkov, the longest jump in the world this year, breaking the stadium record that was set way back in the Olympic Games of 1980. 8.56 meters. Ignatius Geyser of the Netherlands, 8.29 for a new Dutch national record. And Luis Rivera of Mexico, 8.27, one of his best jumps ever. And as far as the men's shot put was concerned, it was a great competition. 6 athletes over 20.98 meters. That was the longest throw of Thomas Majewski's season. Double Olympic champion, couldn't convert it into a World Championship gold. It was left to David Stahl after a little bit of waiting. 21.73, the longest throw he's done this year, ahead of Ryan Whiting, who led from round 1, and Dylan Armstrong, who came through strongly to take the bronze.
So what a dramatic 200 meters. This whole Speed Queens head-to-head we were hoping for. It looked like a hamstring, Allyson Felix.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a hamstring. She grabbed her hamstring, and that's classic hamstring coming around the bend. You know, it's a little bit cool tonight. That could have had something to do with it, but at the same time, you know, you just never know with sprinting. It's a high-speed event, and you're always at risk, and it's going to happen at some point in your career. You just hope it doesn't happen at a championship like this. It did for Allyson Felix. Unfortunately, you'll see her here grab that right hamstring. Her brother Wes, she's got tears. I'm sure she thought that she had a real opportunity to do something here. You know, as an athlete, you look forward to these types of showdowns, because basically when Shelly-Ann Fraser coming over from the 100 said, I'm going to really focus on the 200 this year, that was a challenge to Allyson Felix, and she took that challenge on and came in here ready for it. So I'm sure she's extremely disappointed not to be able to take on the challenge.
But take nothing away from Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who converted that incredible 100-meter form where she was just invincible. She was threatened a little bit more in this event, a little bit further, has to have a little bit more endurance, Denise, but looking supreme.
She's looking supreme. She is supreme. I mean, you liken her running to something like, you know, when you're skimming a stone across the water, the contacts are just so sharp, so quick, and she almost just skims across the floor. Probably more so in the 100, and in particular, she was absolutely running out of gas. She had worked so hard from 0 to 60 meters that, you know, you have to pay the price at some point in that 200. And those girls were catching her, you know. But she is amazing. She is a legend in her own right. It's a fantastic piece of running.
And I guess it's not great news for the USA in the relay, losing Felix.
No, they really were. It was good. They were going to need Allyson Felix in the relay. That's going to significantly damage that relay, because, as I said before, we already don't have Sonia Richards-Ross, the Olympic champion, in that about 400-meter relay. And now you lose Allyson Felix. So yeah.
The door may be open a little bit more for the British women's 4x4. It's almost time for the men, and our men looking to evoke the spirit of Akabusi, Redmond, Regis, and Black.
So this, always the final event of a major championship, and often one of the most dramatic. The wind freshening as they get away, and Roger Black in lane number 3 goes straight away, closes right down on the Jamaican. The handoff point, well, it's very close between America and Great Britain, but I think Great Britain have just got the edge. Quincy Watts has got America right back in, and has the British gamble failed? John Reid is on the third leg, and he's chasing Danny Everett. And Regis can't quite get there. America will take over in the lead with their world champion Pettigrew on the anchor leg. Akabusi goes after him. The difference is 3 meters. Akabusi has a go, and the American is beaten. And he's fighting back. Akabusi has made it. Akabusi, gold for Britain. A new British, a new Commonwealth, a new European record for the 4x400 meter World Championship gold medal.
Do you know what? I've never heard Chris Akabusi talk about that. It's nice to see it, wasn't it? Not much. What a great moment. Well, this Great Britain team, it's going to be led off by Conrad Williams. Took the silver medal 4 years ago. 3 of the same members. He was led up by Conrad on that day. We've had great success, of course, in this 4x400 relay over the years. That gold medal was repeated in '97. And as I said, silver medal by 3 of that team there. Conrad Williams, Rooney, Bingham. Rob Tobin was in the team on that day. Nigel Levine coming in as our #1 individual on the outside, the final leg. I'll talk about that in a second. Australia did really well. They've got to thank Tristan Thomas. He dragged them into this final with a brilliant last leg in the qualification round. So where are the threats from? Well, Jamaica, and they've interestingly left out Javier Bell, one of their 400-meter specialists. So it'll be McDonald, then Adino Steele, Omar Johnson and Javron Francis there, 2 of the better runners on the final 2 legs. And that's interesting. I think the real threats are the United States and Trinidad and Tobago. The United States led off by David Verberg, Tony McQuay, then Arman Hall and LaShawn Merritt on the last leg. Trinidad have got a cracking team as well. So Great Britain have dropped Jamie Bowie. That might be seen as controversial. He ran 44.8 in qualification, but they've left it to the experienced men for the final. Belgium, Brazil, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, United States, Russia, Great Britain, Australia. Well, Conrad Williams has got to get Britain out, and by putting Martin Rooney on the second leg, that's the plan. They want to be in the race. They don't want to let the other teams get away from them. We're expecting the Americans to be the favourites here, particularly with Merritt on the last leg. Trinidad are going to be really tough. They're led off by Rene Quo, and Williams has got a good first leg here, and you can see it's really important that he gives Martin Rooney a good chance to be in there with the Americans and with Trinidad. Trinidad will have Lalonde Gordon on the second leg, who's already running the 200 semi-final, and Williams is just tying up a little bit here.
It'll clear up a little bit as they come round this elongated stagger in the 4x400, but yes, giving it to the bearded Martin Rooney now, who ran that anchor leg in qualifying, and he has to be strong now because Britain, as they come round, will be behind Russia unless Martin Rooney can just sneak in front there. America taking it out with Tony McQuay, silver in the individual 400 metres, looking strong. The Barley is trying to get there. 3 of them running here. Kevin Barley on the second leg tucks himself in behind Martin Rooney, who sits in third, and the Russian Lev Mozin, who's in second place and taking the noise of the crowds.
We're heading for a classic 4x400 here. America just at the advantage. Martin Rooney running a great leg here, but he's got to hold off Jamaica. Kevin Barley of Belgium running well. The Russians just starting to tie up a little bit. It's going to be the USA in the lead. Arman Hall with the baton, the youngest of the Barley brothers. Dylan now with Michael Bingham chasing him. Great Britain in third place, but Russia are close, and so are Jamaica.
Well, the Belgians front-loaded because this is the youngest of the Barley brothers, Dylan Barley, far less experienced, 20 years old. He was given a good position here by Jonathan Barley and by Kevin Barley, but he's sitting close behind Arman Hall, who is in the lead for United States. This is a decent run at the moment from Michael Bingham in third place, but what a race we have in our hands here, because Jamaica come round with Omar Johnson, Russia still there with Sergei Petikov, but he's beginning to tie up a little bit, trying to close out on Michael Bingham. But what a race
LaShawn Merritt takes the baton for America. Belgium are still involved, but he's their weakest runner. But Russia have put their top man on the last leg. That's Krasnov. Jamaica have got Francis there. And Trinidad and Tobago have come right back in it with Jaron Solomon. So Nigel Levine under some pressure here, and he's let the advantage go, but he needs to be patient. He's just got blocked off there by Trinidad. So America away and clear. Forget about that. They've got the gold. Jamaica in silver medal position. Now can Nigel Levine find something in the home straight? Jamaica have kicked hard and have kicked early. Krasnov of Russia being cheered on by the home crowd. And Levine is coming, but is he coming quick enough? USA going to win it. Jamaica have had a brilliant performance here, but it's going to be Russia who know. Jamaica silver, Russia bronze, Great Britain fourth. Never in doubt where the gold medal was headed. Jamaica, I thought, ran brilliantly well. Their third leg runner, Omar Johnson, really put them in with a shout. And Javon Francis attacked it. He attacked it really hard. And Nigel Levine got blocked off in the back straight when Jaron Solomon of Trinidad and Tobago, just as he was going to make his move, blocked him off. The big figure, the big Belgian there, who's running the last leg, Oyowe, was a big mountain to go round, and Nigel Levine got blocked off, and then he was in nowhere, to be honest, as the others moved away, as Russia and Jamaica then contested the minor medals in the home straight. That's will be a disappointment. We finished fourth on more than one occasion at these World Championships, and the splits very quickly. 45-3 for Williams, solid leg. Rooney 44-5, he ran okay, that's pretty good. Bingham 45-7, bit disappointing there, and Levine with a 45-3 at the end.
As we watch the Jamaicans celebrate, holding on for their silver medal, the Russians too with the bronze. The time for the United States, 2:58.71. Anytime you get under 3 minutes in a 4x400 metre relay. Not sure what leg that chap ran for Russia, but he seems quite happy as well. I was watching Will Oyowe, the Belgian here, giant figure, and he's flailing out. He's a huge man. He's the slowest of the Belgians, but again, Nigel Levine had to come very, very wide. He had too much to do after all the jostling a little bit earlier. Still a very, very good run from Levine, but there was just a bit too much to do. The Americans well clear, and a cracking race for second place between Jamaica and Russia. LaShawn Merritt, when he's put in that position, obviously there's going to be only one result, barring a miracle. But yeah, it was a very, very, very interesting race for the minor medals here.
It was exciting to see. Francis and Jamaica attacked very early, and I think we were all expecting him to fade. We didn't realise he was going to hang on, but he took it all, he gave it out, he gave himself what I describe as really having clear air. He didn't want anything happening all around him, while Nigel Levine was the complete opposite. He had to go around people. He's coming down this home straight, I think, in lane 4, first of all. So he really had to work his way around that field. But look at that race, that tussle to the line. Russia and Jamaica, and look at that lead. Jamaica just snipping it. And Steve, what's your real assessment of the team? Are you disappointed they didn't go under 3 minutes?
Well, they've run slower than they did in the heat, and you've got to. I mean, of course, we can say, was the selection right? Could they have? Would Bowie have made a difference? I'm not convinced that Bingham and Levine was. He got caught behind runners. He made some choices. It didn't pay off. That third leg for me, was one where he sat a little bit. You really want to get involved and get in front. If we'd been in second place at that point, it would have been a bit easier for Nigel Levine to control the runners around him. We lost the chance to control that last leg, really. And when Levine gets this now, look at that. There are people around him, people in front of him. Now he's got a choice to make here. He either attacks it really hard and gets into second, follows Krasnov, but he doesn't. And then down the back straight, when Solomon comes round, the Jamaican goes past him. Go with him, go past him at this point. But he wants to, but because he's blocked off by the Belgian athlete, and then he thinks, I'll go now, and then he's blocked off again, and then it's gone. The medals are disappearing in front of him.
Yes, going round Will Oyowe is got a sizable task here in more ways than one. He's a giant figure, but I think Jamie Bowie would feel hard done by. Of course, hindsight is a very simple thing to look back and say, but he did run very well in qualification, as you pointed out. To run slower in the final than in the heats might not have been good enough to get up there with the Jamaicans and the Russians, but I think without that little bit of blocking, That does take an awful lot out of you in 400 metres.
All these men are exhausted. You can see coming down this home straight. They've worked hard, all except LaShawn Merritt, who's really smiling and thinking, thank you very much, another gold medal for me.
We shall analyse that performance further, but it's time for this. Mo Farah, Great Britain's greatest ever athlete, about to be presented with his gold for the 5K, and how fitting it is by Lord Coe, who said just yesterday that if he won today, it would cement him as our greatest ever athlete. Smiling, taking it all in, and Lord Coe, no doubt, delighted that he gets to hang the medal around the neck of Mo Farah. Paula, it's a special moment. Anybody who loves athletics, who's followed the sport for years and years and seen various successes, people winning World Championships, Olympic Games, but to do it again and again, World Championship, Olympic Games, World Championship back to back, phenomenal achievement.
It's really hard, if you're probably not a distance athlete, to just appreciate how hard it is to put those back to back again and again. And he's done it, and he's just really stamped his authority on both years, basically, last year and then again here. And I think it was interesting to see in his interview with Phil, it was only just starting to sink in. I think it was only just starting to realise just what he's achieved.
And he's done it with all kinds of pretenders, Michael, coming and trying to have a go at him. And as the more success he gets, the harder he'll be to beat psychologically, because they will fear him.
Yeah, absolutely. They will. He's becoming, we said this before, Usain Bolt-like, where people don't feel that they're supposed to be in front of him. And so he really has, at this point, cemented himself as a true legend in the sport. Not just a Great Britain athlete, and not just the best British athlete, but a true legend in the sport, where now, as a double Olympic champion, double world champion, and having done that twice in 2 different events. I mean, I always say they're going to give out the medals to someone. That's guaranteed. What's not guaranteed is that the same person is going to take 2 of those medals. And when you do that, you become one of the Carl Lewis's, Michael Johnson, I'll put myself in there, the Usain Bolts and the Shelly-Ann.
Totally deserved.
Shelly-Ann Fraser, those types of athletes. And over the last 20 years, since 1983, since these championships began, there are very few people that have actually done that.
Okay, if you're watching this at home, feel free to stand up and enjoy this well-deserved national anthem.
First and foremost, Mo is an athlete and pays respect to the men who won the minor medals. He's very popular with everybody in the running world, and why not? He's a big hero, and he's a hero to some of them as well. The African guys, the Ethiopians, the Kenyans, they all love Mo. Well, a pretty exciting 4x400 meter relay. Not the winners, it wasn't too exciting for them. It was business as usual for the United States. So the world leading time, 2:58.71. They took the gold medal. Jamaica, brilliant run on the last leg, just out leaning Russia. Krasnov just couldn't hang on there, 2:59.90. Great Britain having to settle for 4th place. It was a little bit of a rough race, particularly in the last couple of legs, but it'll be interesting to get the guys' views on it. On their 4th place, they're with Phil.
Well, the 4x400 guys are with me now, starting with Conrad. You know, 4th place is always the worst place to finish. I know you've experienced before. What's going through the mind right now?
I don't know. I feel it's crazy. I mean, we had a good team, strong team. We knew we had to go sub 3 minutes anyway to get in the medals, and just disappointed for the guys that we wasn't on the podium, because we knew we could do it. And you know, it's just everyone stepped their game up, so did we. So just unfortunate we got another fault, but it just shows that we are one of the top 4 nations. So we're going to get it right one day.
Well, you know, some would say you got it right tonight. You didn't do too much wrong. There are other strong teams around, but I suppose at the start you knew exactly what you needed to do, and you know, the frustration is it didn't quite come together tonight, Martin.
Yeah, I think we've been trying to mix it up for a while, like trying to mix the order up, and I think tonight was actually probably the right order. I think I backed myself to be better than guys like Tony McQuaid on second leg, and today he showed me a clean pair of heels. So I think I feel like I let the team down a bit today, but we'll come back. We'll Commonwealths next year, Europeans as well. It's going to be we've got to win it. That's first and foremost. So it's exciting.
Well, I don't think you let anybody down. I heard 44.5 was your time, so I don't think you did that at all. Listen, I know this is hard for you guys when it's a 4th place finish. Tell me the emotion of the night. What's going through your mind right now, Michael?
Disappointment, and a little bit of disappointment. I came into this group and I wasn't feeling my best. On Tuesday I couldn't even really walk, and these guys really pulled me up and made me motivated to run these last 2 rounds. And thankful to the physio staff that's supported by the National Lottery. I was able to come back and run and compete, and that's really the most appreciative I could be. But I really, really would have liked to have a medal and perform today.
Thanks for that. And Nigel, let me bring in you finally. Well, you've had a busy week and it's ended this way. I know you would have liked to have gone home with a medal. So what's your reaction right now?
Quite disappointed. We've been outperformed. Really tried, got boxed in. It was a tough fight coming into the home straight. Yeah, quite disappointed, but great team, and we went out there to do our best. No, I mean, best wasn't enough, so we've got to come back strong next time.
Can I get a final word from Martin? Because I'm sure you want to pay tribute to Jamie, who got you here in the first place.
Jamie did a great job yesterday. It was very tough to leave him out. I think we're all we know he's there on the wings now, and he's going to be pushing everyone else to run quicker. So congratulations to him and to Luke, who came on the squad, Luke Lennon-Ford. I think he's trained really well with us, and it's without their support and the guys like Lloyd Cowan, our coach, and our own personal coaches, we wouldn't be here today. And I think we'd just like to say thanks to them.
Thanks a lot, Martin.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate
Cheers.
it. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Michael.
An incredibly disappointed quartet, but a very happy trio there. And there will be 5 when Mo finally gets home and is able to hug his beautiful twins, who are just almost a year old. He's sacrificed so much time away from his family that the moment he comes over the line, it's the first thing he wants to do, to go hug his wife Tanya, his daughter Rihanna there, and of course those 2 beautiful babies who one day will look back through the scrapbooks and those fabulous photos his wife was taking tonight, and they'll say, it's okay, Dad. Those few months, it's fine. Well, there were 6 medals, 6 gold medals decided tonight. Lysenko of Russia gave the crowd everything they hoped for with a fabulous world-leading throw. Gold to her. And then Menko, the favourite coming into this, delivered with a world-leading jump, smashed his Russian record and PB there for him. And then Mo Farah brought home the gold and the glory for Great Britain. His 5th gold medal on the major championships in 2 years, and a new dance to boot. And then it was Schottel of Germany who disrupted the Americans and took gold there in the shot put. At 200 metres with a bit of a shock for Alison Felix. She went down, but Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the 100-metre winner, added to her gold collection here. The Jamaicans smiling all the way. And America, anchored by LaShawn Merritt there, took gold in the 4x4. Easy does it, cruising over the line. And that is where we'll start our analysis of the evening, I think, Michael. They were very, very disappointed there, Great Britain's men. I think they really, really thought after their time that they posted in qualifying that they had a medal in their sights. Where did it go wrong, particularly for you?
in thinking that they had a chance to get a medal, in all honesty. That this team was not a very strong team. And I think that the preliminaries, they did run faster in the rounds, in the preliminaries, but thinking that the other teams were going to sit by idly. We always knew that they were going to bring other people into some of those other teams, which was going to the Russians, the Jamaicans, which was always going to make them tougher. We knew Trinidad was going to be a very tough team as well. I think that this team just wasn't very strong, and the weak link was always going to be Michael Bingham. And I know that, I mean, Michael's he's got great talent, great potential. I used to represent him. Tried to help him as much as I could to bring him along as an athlete, and he just doesn't really have it. And I think the selectors probably should have seen that when an athlete has that type of potential and that type of natural ability and they don't continue to move on, they're probably not the person to select. I think people like Rob Tobin, who's shown in the past that he's got the ability and he's got the talent, you know, if he was available, put him on that team and go with people who have actually gone out there and proven.
Bowie, of course, ran in the heat.
And Bowie ran well in the heats as well. And, you know, once an athlete shows you doubt, unless they can show you something that lets you know that, hey, you don't have to doubt me anymore. And Michael didn't show that in the preliminaries either. So it was not the best of teams. I think that Martin Rooney, you know, 44-5, he's the only 44 on that team. You've got to have another 44 somewhere.
Well, it wasn't to be for the men's 4x4. They had high hopes, perhaps misplaced there, according to Michael. There was a 200-metre final, though, where Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Alison Felix appeared to be the queen of the track, the queens of the track that we were hoping would have a great head-to-head tonight, Denise.
Well, this was a duel that we were really relishing and looking forward to. But you see, Alison Felix goes down there. Terrible injury for her, but Shelly-Ann Fraser making the opportunity and taking the opportunity there and just holding on for that fantastic World Championship double. It's just an incredible run from her.
Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has been the woman to beat all season. She's now elevating herself into that kind of level of legend that you were talking about before, Michael. You know, when you're a multiple winner, a multiple gold medal winner.
Yeah, she's actually adding to her legend, because being a 100-meter double Olympic champion in the 100 2 times and being a world champion 2 times in the 100 meters, she's already a legend in the sprints and doing things that people haven't done before. But then she added to her legend tonight now as a 200-meter champion, and she will have in her sights more of those. But I think we will see Alison Felix is still young. I think we will see that battle and that challenge eventually materialize.
The main event, though, for us Brits watching tonight was, of course, the men's 5K. Here are the last 3 laps for you.
Less than 3 laps to go. Nothing's happened in this race at all. And now it begins to mount. The pace begins to pick up. 62 seconds for that last lap. And I'm getting more confident. There's some good talent around Mo Farah. There's some good sprinters amongst this lot. But confidence and the speed we've seen from Mo Farah. Bernard Lagat, the only man in this field who's ever run faster 1,500 metres than Mo Farah, but he hasn't done it for a long, long time. Mo's done it so recently. There he is now, and it looks down the finishing straight.
Less than 1,000 metres to go. Alain Marou leading, but he's only there because he wants to try and stop Mo Farah getting to the front. You can see what his tactic is. He's slowing it there, and look at this. As soon as Farah tries, he's going to try and hold him off. He tried to do this in Birmingham. Now we've got Soy in there behind, and look at Gebrhiwet. He's going to try and help his mate. Mo tries again, and Alain Marou holds him off again. Now Gebrhiwet's right on his shoulder. Longasiwa's in there. Soy's just been blocked off a little bit behind Edris, the other Ethiopian. He's 5 metres behind Mo Farah, and the race is really on now.
This is an 800-metre race. And the thing about 800-metre races, you've got to choose your position, you've got to follow your tactics, and there goes Mo Farah. That's his first effort, and it's going to have to be enough. Now he's in the pole position. Now with 600 metres to go, this is where he likes to be, and his tactics from here are simply to hold off any attacks. Keep it steady, keep a few bursts of speed available to you. Allow yourself to have the opportunity to sprint when you're challenged. And he's only got one tactic now, he's got to hold them off at every opportunity.
Farah leading. Alan Maru is there, Longasiwa is there, Koech coming round the outside, goes past Saw, he won't be happy about that. Lagat is still there, the American, and Gebrhiwet in there. Koech now on the shoulder of Farah.
Well, the double Olympic champion is on his way to glory if he can just hold himself in the right place. Hold them off, Mo Farah. You've got to keep battling, you've got to respond at every time but you don't use it all in the back straight. Save some of it for the bend, save some of it for the finishing straight itself. Mo's controlling this. He's not absolutely flat out yet. He's running and relaxing and coasting. He looks magnificent. He's got this chance.
Mo Farah with Koech on his shoulder. Longasiwa is there. Lagat within striking distance. Have any of them got the ammunition? Have any of them got the speed? Does anyone have the acceleration? Mo Farah working hard. He hasn't got this one yet. He's got to battle for this. He's sprinting for gold. He's running for greatness. Mo Farah is going to get there again. Farah wins it. Another incredible performance from Mo Farah. His 5th global title. That's a fistful of gold.
It doesn't get any easier watching that, does it? He told us earlier on, have a cup of tea, relax. It was all under control. But they tried, didn't they, to shake him up, and they all had a go at changing the pace. And you were writing down split times going, what is going on?
I was writing down split times thinking, what are they doing? I could be leading this. It was just, they just played right into his hands, I think. That's good for us, and I think it's just a measure of his intimidation factor over the rest of the field, because the odd person went to the front. Koech tried a little bit, Edris tried a little bit, but nobody really went out and did anything to test him. And I think the more he saw those lap counters tick down, he knew that it was getting into the territory where he was getting even more and more confident. And once he hit that front, and he did have to battle a little bit to get past to get into the front, but once he did that, then he was just holding them off and doing what he does best and moving further and further away.
You were really confident with his sprint finish. You said from 80 you thought it's going to be fine, but obviously the rest of the field, quite a few of them felt that when it got to the sprint, Denise, we're going to have him, we're going to be okay, because Gebrhiwet before said he reckoned he could out-sprint him. His sprinting has come on.
They thought that perhaps before his emphatic 1,500 metre new British record, but they tried, but they failed, unfortunately. Mo was just supreme, and like Paula says, once he got to the front, he knew exactly what to do, and there was no chance they were going to come past him.
When you saw, sorry, Paula.
I was just going to say, he knew exactly what to do the whole race. He was so calm, and I think. You're right. In the last 100 metres, I was really cool. I was really relaxed. I knew that he'd got that, but early on, I was really, really worried for him. And he was just in the best position. You just run out of words to just.
Oh my God! There's no more
describe
superlatives.
You run out of it
incredible.
because I'm just in total awe and admiration of just how cool he is, how much he dominated that race, and just the shape that he's in right now. And it's a shame because he's run hard here, and to go on and try and run fast now at the end of this season is really hard. But I just think that he's been capable of some really quick times this year as well.
We showed at the very beginning of the evening, Michael, those graphics of the greats, the Bekeleys, the Haile Gebrselassie, the Lassie Virans. He is in that company now.
Yeah. The Pavo Nurmi, all of those guys, he's in that company now. And I think there's more to come from Mo. I'd love to hear from him. What's next? What is he going to be going for next? Because I don't think that Mo Farah, we talked about Usain Bolt and what's next for him and what motivates him, and I think he just loves to go out and compete. I think Mo's not that type of athlete. He's that type of athlete who's looking for that next thing. So, records, I don't know.
Yeah, because that's the one thing, I guess, that you can put into those kinds of mixes, or maybe just have a year of just doing the 1,500 after his incredible 1,500 this year.
Well, don't forget he's running the marathon as well in the April.
Yeah, there is that as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, maybe over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, we've got more Bolt time on the track. great friend and training partner Johan Blake said the 200 is his baby. Watch him rock that baby tomorrow. Coverage from 12:15 on BBC Two. We transfer to BBC One at 1:15. It's the men's marathon as well tomorrow. And let's not forget, Adam Jamili goes in that 200 metre final. He'll be in the lane inside Usain Bolt tomorrow.
Yes, inside. Yep.
That's going to be very interesting.
That's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. Scary place to be.
If you'd said to him 3 weeks ago that's where you're going to be in that final.
No. I mean, this is a dream come true for him. It really is. And a great position for him to be in. So it'll be a great race to watch. I wouldn't say it's because of Adam Jamili, but I would say that if Usain Bolt has ever been a tad concerned, it will be now.
Let's hope so. Let's hope there's a little bit of sleeplessness tonight in the Usain Bolt there. Well, it's been an incredible evening here. It's been all about the greatest British athlete ever, Mr. Mo Farah. Take a bow, sir.